It's a nice night for tailgating on Tobacco Road here in Winston-Salem. A crucial game on the road to the ACC Championship between two of the preseason favorites here. The Demon Deacons, perennial challengers in the conference and a bowl team every season. Cullen Harper needs to lead Clemson back after a conference loss last time out, and Riley Skinner bent on redemption after what he called the worst game of his life. Clemson invades Wake Forest. Neither team can afford a loss. And welcome to ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Applebee's. BB&T Stadium here, home of the Demon Deacons, ranked number 21. We sold out tonight. The fans dressed in black, except for those in Clemson orange. Their campus is about 180 miles away. It is a crucial game in the ACC tonight. We welcome you to another Thursday night classic, we hope. Chris Fowler, Craig James, and Jesse Palmer. 5 straight upsets on Thursday night. So we hope to give you some entertainment for the next few hours to take your mind off your finances and your stocks. You can be okay? Can you focus with me for a few hours? I know it's scary. Both of these teams had their stock drop after a surprising home loss, and it's been a long 12 days for both of them. For the loser tonight, though, the stock's going to drop even further. They can't afford a loss, especially Clemson, Craig, which already has a couple losses and was preseason number 9.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and walking around on the field in pregame and talking with the players and just sensing how they're preparing for this ball game, it's a motivational game. They know where they stand right now. This is a football team desperate for a win. And if you're going to go out on the field and have a great night, you got to get it done on the ground. Clemson, make no mistake about it, they're thunder and they're lightning. Thunder is James Davis. This man between the tackles is a beast. He runs behind his shoulder pads well. He's got great vision. He wears down his opponents. Now, his partner in the backfield will be the lightning side of this thing. C.J. Spiller. Spiller's a guy that can get it done as well. Davis and Spiller just wear defenses down. They're relentless with what they do on the ground, and it will open up play-action passes for their quarterback, Cullen Harper. Jesse, you and I, we've studied this game. We've looked at these two teams. Chris, we've seen what they do out there. If they put it in the air a lot tonight, Wake Forest has proven over the years, Jim Grobe's defense, they'll take the ball away, they'll intercept it, and it turns into another Demon Deacons game.
And that's because the rallying cry for Wake Forest the past couple of years has been forcing turnovers on defense, and it's no different this year. This defense has generated 17 takeaways. That's tied for best in the nation. It's a very senior defense, very experienced and battle-tested. They start 8 seniors and 3 juniors, but they're led by their cornerback Alfonso Smith and outside linebacker Aaron Curry. These guys are tempo setters, they're difference makers, and they are big-time NFL prospects. Now, in the 3 wins for Wake Forest this year, they've averaged 5 takeaways a game. So, guys, for Wake Forest to get this win tonight, it's the defense that's got to step up big.
Yeah, both Smith and Curry are strong NFL prospects, but that defense got chewed up by Navy. They're also bent on redemption. The Demon Deacons and the Clemson Tigers from here in Winston-Salem coming up very soon. Back now to Reese and the guys in the studio.
Close to the carnival there at Wake Forest and going to the state fairgrounds this weekend for Texas and Oklahoma. Glad to have you with us in the studio. Lou Holtz, Mark May, my Hall of Fame running mates are here. Guys, as we start to head for a huge pivotal weekend in college football, 15 teams remain unbeaten and 4 of the heavyweights reside in the Big 12, and that will be cut in half by the end of the night on Saturday. The, of course, headline game in all of college football, Texas and Oklahoma. Those two teams squaring off, both in the top 5. Sam Bradford, Colt McCoy, both have just been outstanding, Mark.
In the pass defense of Texas, keeping on it, they're 96 in the country. Watch Sam Bradford carve that pass defensive up.
Sam Bradford and Colt McCoy both putting up huge numbers among the nation's best passers. All right, Oklahoma State and Missouri, Lou.
Everybody knows about Jeremy Macklin. They know about Chase Daniels. Think about Des Bryant and Zach Robinson. They are outstanding.
Those 4 teams all undefeated. Nebraska suffered its first loss last week. Now they got to deal with Texas Tech.
Graham Harrell had 7 touchdowns last week, 6 of them passing, and they put 70 points on this Nebraska team last time they were in Lubbock. Look out, Nebraska.
You think you're going to 70 again?
At least 50, half 100.
All right, how about Colorado and Kansas?
Oh, this should be outstanding. Kansas had some problems on defense, and Colorado is very, very difficult to play with the way that the offense is coming along.
Offenses, they've been the dominant side in the Big 12 so far. Look at where all of these teams rank. You have 6 teams among the top 9 offenses in the country, even Kansas State, which really hasn't played that well, but all of them putting up huge numbers. Now, it's important to put up points. It's important, nice, and sexy to roll up yards, but is that the way you win championships? The responsible opposing view comes from a huge weekend in the SEC. LSU and Florida facing off in a defensive struggle.
The question is, can Jared Lee, the young freshman redshirt quarterback, perform in a difficult environment in Florida?
And also, there's Tennessee and Georgia. Tennessee's had all kind of trouble scoring.
Can Tennessee score over 10 points? They've only averaged that the last 3 games. But if you look at Georgia and Mark Richt, they're 9-1 after a bye week.
Did I mention that there are 15 teams undefeated in the country? Did you know one of them was Vanderbilt? Of course you did. They can become bowl eligible if they can beat Mississippi State.
And they will. If they score a touchdown, they might possibly win the games. Mississippi State has trouble scoring. Lost 3-2 to Auburn.
They did. Vanderbilt came back to beat Auburn 14-13 last week. And speaking of the Tigers, all kinds of drama going on there. They've got the Hogs.
Oh, with even an offensive coordinator and Tony Franklin, they're going against the 112th scoring defense in the nation, giving up 38 points. Coach, you can go out there and call plays for Auburn. They'll score at least 24 points in this game.
Oh, steady there.
And in South Carolina and Kentucky, the Kentucky defense has kept everybody out of the end zone thus far. They held Alabama to just 17. And finally, probably for the first time this season, South Carolina's offense looked like a Steve Spurrier offense against Ole Miss last week. These are how the defenses stack up in the SEC. Kentucky, Auburn, and Florida all in the top 4 in points allowed and scoring defense. And, of course, LSU, Alabama still undefeated. They, too, have put up impressive defensive numbers. So you have the great offense in the Big 12. You have the stingy defense in the SEC. It would be great if you could put them together and have both, but if you had to take your pick and try to win a championship, which would you prefer, to be stronger on defense like in the SEC or on offense like in the Big 12?
Oh, definitely stronger on defense. You know, offense is still tickets. Championships are won on defense. And the thing about the SEC, they tackle very well. They have excellent athletes. They can play man coverage, and they're very, very physical. That is the way you win football games. You've got to be physical on defense. You must punish them. You must create turnovers.
The defense does win championships, and it's great the SEC. If you look at the last 2 national champions, they came from the SEC conference and LSU and Florida, but come on, Coach, offenses, they sell the tickets, put people in the stands, they get people up on their feet when they see those great dynamic plays. And you look at, I've got to go offense if I'm taking a pick, because, you know, you get a Sam Bradford pitching the ball around, you get a Chase Daniel running the spread offense, you've got these great receivers and running backs in the open field. Look at these teams scoring 40, 50 points a game.
Because their defenses aren't good.
Championship teams by offense. Not just because I'm a former offensive player, but offense wins championships. Defense helps out, but offense truly wins the championship.
Now, what about the adage that defense really doesn't win championships? It keeps you from losing them, Lou.
No, I tell you, whenever you go on the road, you have to take great defense. And you look at Georgia, number 2 in the country at the time, beat South Carolina 14-7. You look at 3-2 games. When you go on the road in the SEC, it's difficult to go into an environment if you don't pack a great defense, discipline, and togetherness. You can forget about it. You don't take defense, you aren't going to win in the SEC away from home.
Remind me of this, but didn't Alabama go to Georgia and put 31 points up at halftime?
Poor defense. Absolutely. How else are you going to account for it?
But I think it's offenses. Because if you can't score, you can't win. Bottom line. So if you put points on the board and you move the chains, you can make sure that you can keep the defense on the sidelines.
That's probably why you think you should fire an offensive coordinator in the middle of the year. Because defense wins.
Well, listen to Dr. Lou providing the perfect segue there. Auburn's had no trouble whatsoever on defense. The Tigers have been stingy. Nobody converts on 3rd down against them. But the offense, that's an entirely different matter. Tigers' offense has been among the worst in the country so far this year. And now Tony Franklin has been given a heave-ho by Tommy Tuberville less than 24 hours after Tuberville reiterated his support for Franklin and his dedication to the spread offense. So now on Wednesday, Tuberville said that Franklin was out. They're still going to try to run the spread. Steve Ensminger is going to call the plays, but he's not a candidate to be the permanent offensive coordinator, they say. When you look at this situation, Mark, it's a bizarre soap opera thing as Auburn tried to go to the spread, and it's almost like as the spread starts to contract now.
And it's almost as if Tommy Tuberville doesn't want to admit that he's made a mistake. He's still saying that we're going to run the spread offense. Well, you brought Tony Franklin in. The guy's the guru of the spread offense to run this, so you fire him halfway through the season. I know you already fired Al Borges because he's up in the press box. You may call him at halftime of this game. He's your former offensive coordinator, and you're paying 2 offensive coordinators now. But the bottom line, they've got to find out what direction they want to go. They have no identity. They don't know if they're running the spread, they're running the power, they're running the West Coast.
I think they're definitely running the spread because their #1 recruit is a quarterback out of Maryland who chose Auburn because of the spread. Let me say this to football coach. You have difficulties with the staff. You never have a problem. You might have a difference of opinion. You only have a problem if they have 2 different objectives. For example, if the offense coordinator and the head coach want to win, you don't have a problem. You might have different opinion how to do it. But if you have a problem and you say, I can't live with it any longer, you must divorce yourself from the problem, and that's obviously how the situation reached it. I just can't live with this any longer. If you can't live with something, you must divorce yourself from it, and Coach Tuberville wasn't leaving.
But the bottom line is, why do you say that we're going to change our identity at Auburn and bring in Tony Franklin as the offensive coordinator last year? Takes them to the bowl game. They win the bowl game. And all of a sudden, you've got all spring ball, all summer camp. You're putting in all these plays and all these formations, and you're changing the terminology of your offense. Halfway through the season, you let them go. It just doesn't make any sense.
But as a head football coach, you sometimes have to step in if you have a coordinator. I was always my own offense coordinator, but if I was a defense coordinator and things aren't going well, I'd step in and say, we're going to do it this way. No, I don't care how you want to. This is how we're going to do it. And if you step in, an offense coordinator says, I'm not going to do it, just like on this show, Mark, I say you ought to cheer for Notre Dame. You ought to do that. You have difference of opinion.
So how many times did you fire your offensive coordinator?
I wanted to fire myself many times, but never. And I want to tell you, you don't want to fire a football coach. They got families, they got reputation. You do something when you feel, I owe it to the football team. I owe it to those players. I owe it to those coaches to give them a chance to win. When they come to our school, I have the minimum requirement to give them the best coach in the country. If they aren't getting it, then I got to make a decision no matter how distasteful it is to me.
When Pat Forty reported on College Football Live today that apparently some background information and maybe there was some discord on the staff and it became an untenable situation. But now you talked about working on the spread throughout the offseason. How do you expect the Auburn offense to respond the rest of the year?
I think there's going to be a lot of confusion by the players. The bottom line is, are we running the spread? Are we running the West Coast offense? What are we doing right now? Now all of a sudden there's a new leader in the offensive, as the offensive coordinator in the offensive huddle that's calling the plays. I think there's going to be problems with Auburn's offense right now.
It's going to improve. Can't get any worse.
That's true. You know that they have tied for the most negative plays in the country, plays stopped for loss, with Washington State. And the Cougars have been hapless. Riley Skinner, on the other hand, has been terrific, except for the game against Navy. He will try to atone against Clemson coming up in a moment.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Wrangler, makers of Wrangler 5-Star Premium Denim Jeans. This telecast is available in high definition, brought to you by Pioneer's new Kuro.
Now the Harley-riding Demon Deacon leads Wake Forest onto the field. Wake Forest hosting Clemson on Thursday night, where so far surprises have ruled and special seasons have already been launched. Fires downfield, has a man, jump ball, touchdown! V stands for victory. Hawkins rolling out, takes a shot downfield, touchdown Smith! And the students creating a mob scene on the field, almost intercepted, but caught for a touchdown! And there will be a humongous party in Corvallis tonight. Throws it out, and running under the ball is Jonathan Baldwin for a touchdown. Gets the toss, cuts it back, touchdown. What an answer from Pittsburgh. And we hope for another classic here and a blackout night in Winston-Salem. Those are the Wake Forest students, just about all of them. Enrollment undergrad of about 4,000, one of the smallest schools that plays Division 1A football. Into this environment comes Tommy Bowden, and his team's back against the wall at 3-2, coming off a home loss to Maryland when they blew a lead, and he's trying to get his team to play with urgency, but also with no fear tonight.
You see the focus right now of Tommy Bowden. Now, this is a very, very intent football team. I mean, they understand exactly where they are. It's a You know, we're on the other
He's
side of the
trying to
field.
smile, but there haven't been many smiles around that place since the loss 12 days ago.
Forced.
Jim Grove, of course, has built a consistent winner here. 20 wins over the last couple of seasons, but the uncharacteristic turnover-filled loss to Navy here 12 days ago, and their first loss of the season. Just the second ACC game for Grove. Clemson won the toss, and they'll receive, and a backup kicker for the Demon Deacons, not the fine Sam Swank, but the redshirt freshman Shane Popham filling in for the injured star to boot it, and it's very, very short. This is Jacoby Ford. Slips and fights up near the 28-yard line. So that could be a factor tonight. Swank will not be available to kick or punt, apparently. Cullen Harper, the Metro Atlanta native, senior at 6'4", brings out the Clemson offense.
Offensive coordinator Rob Spence told us that Cullen Harper has yet to play a game this year that he's capable of playing. He's pressed a lot this season because of the extreme expectations that were on his shoulders heading into this year, and he wants them to just cut it loose today.
Yeah, he only had 6 interceptions all of last season, guys. Already 5 this season, and only 3 touchdown passes. This is an offense that's been under the gun. And they give it off to the Thunder part of the equation. It's James Davis, a very short game before Boo Robinson was there to stop him. Those tailbacks are the impact players in this offense.
And they are. There's a lot of misdirection you'll see, but James Davis, I like him more in between the tackles. A lot of 100-yard rushing games in his career.
C.J. Spiller is the lightning of that duo. He's averaging 6.28 yards over his career every time he carries the football.
And Tyler Grisham, the less heralded of their Clemson receivers, but he's got 110 career catches. He hurt Wake Forest as a reliable possession guy in last year's big win for the Tigers down in Death Valley. It's Davis in the slot, and he gets the handoff running left. Not able to turn the corner as Boo Robinson at 275 pounds got out there. Now check it, he's 325. 320, let's not cheat him 50 pounds.
But he used to be 345 pounds. He used to be really big Boo Robinson. Trimmed down, more swell, able to run to that sideline, make a play.
Kind of a theme to this night for both football teams will be the offensive lines. Can they handle the big guys on the defensive line? Both teams really worried about their offensive linemen.
Clemson, one of the worst teams in the country in this situation. 3rd and 7 or longer. 2 for 24. Only 2 teams in the country worse. That's Grisham in motion to the left of the formation. Harper, his first throw of the night. And the pocket collapses, and down he goes. Stanley Arnu came on the blitz, combining with Big Boo. What a series for that guy.
Yeah, and a Big Boo is what all Harper saw. Look at all the crossing in front of his face here, Jesse. As a quarterback, you see nothing but black jerseys moving around.
It's a good scheme defensively because there are a lot of different players playing on the offensive line that they've had different rotations each and every week. They're going to try to confuse this Clemson O-line all night long.
It was a game-time decision who would punt for the Tigers. Jimmy Maynard's the more experienced guy, the graduate, gets the nod. He'll kick it away, and this is Alfonso Smith, the fine corner and returner. Backed up inside the 35. Smith, too much traffic. Very short return. 45 yards at the punt, 2-yard return. So Riley Skinner trots out there, his first series, and he was embarrassed about the way he played against Navy. 4 interceptions and a fumble.
It was a career high for him in interceptions. He felt like he pressed a lot against Navy, threw a couple turnovers early, and just tried to force the football downfield too much. He needs to just get back into his comfort zone. Does such a nice job in the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield to make plays.
He's got 21 wins in his career as a starting quarterback, and right away Skinner motions out. He's at the bottom of the formation. So trickery on the very first play, and this is DJ Bolden. Anquan's little brother, the quick run to the Clemson 45, so a wrinkle right away for the Demon Deacons.
You know what? This game tonight will be about the defensive ends of Clemson. Will they play discipline? Top of the screen, right side there, you're going to see the defensive end come up the field and has no idea, no vision. Can't see where the ball's going.
I love the play calling by offensive coordinator Steve Lobotsky, putting the hands of his playmakers out of the backfield, get a big chunk of yardage right off the bat.
I love the name, Steve Lobotsky. That's a football coach. This is Skinner, handing it off inside. Josh Adams breaks into the Clemson secondary. Jitterbugs inside the 25. 2 plays, 2 big gains for Wake Forest. 22 on that run.
Feeding off the intensity of the home crowd. Wake Forest, again, showing that this is not the old Wake Forest team. A lot of speed. Look at your fullback, Winfred, go inside. Excellent job of blocking, vision, and taking it right to Clemson.
Hey guys, Skinner once again, the quarterback flexed out wide. And that time the wrinkle didn't work. Barreling in there was Jarvis Jenkins, a 305-pounder to drop the ball carrier. And check the impact players for this Wake Forest offense. Besides Skinner, of course. Josh Adams, we've already seen him. He was the ACC Rookie of the Year last year.
Yeah, he was, and he's a good player, and his backup's a really good player, too. Pendergrass, nothing different about him. Co-starters, matter of fact.
DJ Bolden averaging 7 receptions a game. That's best in the ACC.
So they lost 4 yards in that play, and Skinner will throw for the first time in the flat. He's got the tight end, Ben Wooster. They use the tight ends for a lot of short passing plays. They kind of substitute that for the running game.
You get a feel that right now they're using the entire field right now, not just any one particular point in the field.
Jim Grobe told us earlier this week that he's fine with Riley Skinner throwing these 5-yard passes. That kind of substitute in the running game. When you can get these little dink-dunk plays, generate 5 yards a pop, he's happy with that.
But it's a tough situation for this offense at 3rd and 9. Adams is to the right of Skinner. Riley pump fakes it, takes off. Skinner to the 10, needs a block, and has run out of bounds inside the 5. 18 yards for the quarterback, 1st and goal.
It's a great job by Riley Skinner. And I don't know if this was designed. It looks like he wanted to throw a screen out here to his left. The play just stays alive. It's a good job by him just keeping his feet going and getting downfield.
So Skinner, once again, he's the wide receiver in the formation. Josh Adams on the direct snap. Hands it off to Bolden. And Bolden stopped at the 1. But they don't change much personnel. They have the same guys in the game. But, boy, they line them up in lots of different spaces, don't they?
Which has been really what offensive coordinators around the country are trying to accomplish now with these spread, open-up offenses, personnel matchups. Keep the same group out there, but mix it up.
It's so tough on a defensive coordinator to match up because there's always a tight end and always a fullback on the field for Wake Forest. You just don't know where they're lining up.
No, Adams lines up, takes the ball. Josh Adams, hammer. He'll lose yardage there. Jenkins and Scott, the tackles combining with May on the stop. This team is 114th in rushing. A team that's built its reputation with the strong ground game, so they're trying to search for answers.
And this is really a spot on the field here where it's magnified your lack of ability to run consistently.
An offensive line that has really struggled. They were beaten up on the practice field after the loss to Navy. Some tough practices. And dropped for a loss is Bolden. So Clemson gives up big chunks of yardage until Wake gets inside the 5, and then Kevin Alexander rises up and makes a tackle for loss. Field goal coming up. Too much trickery down inside the 5?
Well, you just run out of smoke and mirrors when you get down there. You get hunkered down in 15 yards that you got to defend. It's easier.
At some point, you just got to play physical smash mouth football and come off the ball.
So again, no Sam Swank, and here is Shane Popham, his first field goal attempt since high school. And they mishandle the snap, kind of a stop-and-go technique, and it doesn't work. And that was a major concern for Jim Grobe. What happened there?
It looks like the hold. It's not on the kicker there. The holder just didn't hold on to the football.
Ryan McManus. Yeah, decent hold, and Popham. Tough to blame him. Zip, zip. So an impressive opening drive for Wake Forest produces no points. Mishandled snap. And the field goal miss, which goes into the column of Shane Popham, but that doesn't really seem fair as Ryan McManus is a 3rd-year holder. Works it on the sideline. So first possession, first play for Clemson, and C.J. Spiller is the tailback. They fake it to him. Harper lobs it downfield over the head of Grisham. Here's a miss again, and hard to see what happened other than the guy dropped the snap, huh?
Yeah, you know, the holder just a little bit loses his rhythm and his balance.
There's so much timing involved with kicking, and as soon as that hold gets misplaced, it totally throws the timing off for the kicker, Shane Popham. Ryan McManus has to do a better job securing that ball and getting it down.
Yeah, it was a missed field goal 2 years ago. Clemson turned the game around. They were down 17-3. Swank was about to put them up 20-3. They mishandled the field goal. Gaines Adams ran it back for a touchdown, and Clemson scored 24 points in the fourth quarter. Only team in the ACC to beat Wake Forest each of the last 2 years. On 2nd and 10, they give it to Spiller. And he's smothered. Boy, that run defense of Wake Forest has been stout early.
The key in this game, I think, for Wake Forest defense is going to be, especially up front, staying in their gaps and making plays. Aaron Curry, the outside linebacker, is the guy that really can get downhill and cause havoc in the backfield.
Right now, the thing that I'm noticing about this defense is how fast they are to the football. You know, this is a defense that has speed, and that's another reason that this team relies on turnovers, gets turnovers, and turns them into points.
Man, Clemson's so ineffective on 3rd and long this season. They need 10 yards. They flip it off short. Aaron Kelly, and he's hammered. Curry, who's a certain first rounder, the scouts say, out there to make the tackle on the wide receiver.
The amazing thing to me about Aaron Curry is for a guy 6'3", almost 250 pounds, he runs like a defensive back. He gets back there quick, Greg.
But you know what? Yesterday, sitting on the couch, all slumped in there, relaxed, calm, but he had a confidence about him that you knew he understood what was coming his way, was ready to unleash his talent.
Had a serious handshake, too. The scouts all said his hands were so strong, but he could crush it if he wanted to. Manners to punt again. Very low kick. Smith will let it bounce in front of him and tells everybody to get away. And it'll roll down near the Wake Forest 33-yard line. So it actually works out pretty well. Despite the ugly kick, they get 47 yards out of it, and Wake Forest will take over.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Applebee's. It's a whole new neighborhood.
Step right up and take your chance. That's the Dixie County Fair. That thing dates to 1882, just across the road. Joel Coliseum, where the Demon Deacons basketball team plays. This is a good thing. I like this hill. This grass bank is almost sold out tonight. You can see it's just in front of where the fairgrounds are. I think it's about $10 to get in there and sit in a blanket and snuggle down there.
Nice atmosphere, though.
Yeah. Second possession for Wake Forest. Boom, hit in the backfield is Pendergrass. That's Brandon Pendergrass, the redshirt freshman, who backs up Josh Adams. And an aggressive play by Cavell Connor.
Clemson's defense going to have to step up while their offense tries to figure out how the heck to get into this game.
Is that stepping up in the gap?
That's getting up in the gap.
Great job by Cavell corner, too. Just getting back in the backfield. He leads this team in tackles with 49 heading into tonight.
He lost 13. And Skinner's got it. And he's got some room. Slides down to the 38. And he'll be about 5 short of the first down. Chris Clemens on the stop.
Then you get the feeling visiting with Riley Skinner this week that, you know, here he is as a junior. You can just feel his confidence versus last year when he was here. Not that he wasn't confident, but he just come around as a good leader.
He's so accurate. That really stands out. Last year completed 72% of his passes. That led the nation over his career. He's completing 69% of his passes. Unbelievable.
Got a little rattle, though, against Navy. I think he felt embarrassed about that game and really had a look in his eye. Determination coming into this one. On 3rd and 8, they'll fire it short. The tight end Worcester has it. Tight ropes for a first down. Got to the 45. Clemens again forcing him out. They overcome the loss on first down.
One of the things this offense is trying to do is spread the defense out. Look at the splits there, how wide the offensive linemen are.
Really, the play calling has been very conservative so far for Wake Forest. Lots of runs and quick passes as they're able to move the chains.
Empty backfield, 5 receivers as Pendergrass goes into the slot. There's a short completion. And working free is Worcester.
Pass is complete to Ben Worcester.
Tight coverage, but he spun out of it, picked up 9.
Yeah, this wide split. Wake Forest coaches have visited Texas Tech, and they've gone around looking at Missouri. Wide splits. I spoke today with Lincoln Riley, the offensive coordinator at Texas Tech. They like it because it opens up passing lanes, and it really allows that quarterback to see the underneath crossing routes.
Boy, it makes it almost impossible for those good defensive ends of the Tigers to get around and get at Skinner. Long way to run. Skinner, this looks like a design run. And again, he slides down after picking up the first down.
No, it's really interesting to me how Steve Lobotsky, the offensive coordinator at Wake Forest, can continually dial up running plays from passing formations. You see those big splits in the offensive line, and yet they're still able to generate running plays with success out of those splits.
This is Pendergrass. Short game. Skinner's got a pretty quick first step as a runner, doesn't he?
Yeah, very strong, very good in the pocket. Great pocket presence, and buys a lot of time to make plays.
Yeah, he's tough to sack. That's one thing Vic Koenig, defensive coordinator at Clemson, told us is we got to do a great job covering wide receivers. We don't want to blitz them very often, but good luck sacking Riley Skinner. You can't cover anybody downfield. He's good in the pocket.
They got a third guy taking snap, though. This is Pendergrass. Direct snap, and he hammers forward. Skinner has spent about half the snaps tonight motion out, not at quarterback.
Be worn out. But you notice the tempo right out here now? This is a Wake Forest offense that's getting to the line of scrimmage, and they're moving.
And Wake Forest kind of going back to that running philosophy we talked a little bit about in the open, and they're doing it in unconventional ways. Different guys lining up a quarterback.
On 3rd and 2, Skinner rolls, flips it short. It's caught. First down, far side to Pendergrass. Clemson defense on its heels.
That's the maturity I'm talking about on the field. How many times, Jesse, do we see quarterbacks when they do that bootleg, they wait for the number 2 receiver to come across?
Missed the throw. You're right, Craig. Riley Skinner does a nice job of taking the first target. When the first option's open, he doesn't waste time trying to get more yardage. Takes the profit, gets the first down.
Clemson -6 total yards. Wake's got 102 already. They show blitz up the middle. Skinner had to hurry the throw. Pendergrass made a diving attempt, got the ball, but actually loses a yard.
You just said what did you say? Takes the profit?
Takes the profit.
In the theme of Wall Street, here we go.
That's hard to do.
What did he do? Short the market there? It didn't come up good?
A direct reflection of what's going on right now in the state of the economy.
You had to bring that up again. I thought we were going to set that aside for a few hours.
How do we get rid of it?
Look at this formation. A bunch of guys in the backfield. They fake it to Bolden. Skinner takes a shot. Has a man wide open. Pendergrass to the 5. They are dazzling Clemson's defense right now with formations and trickery.
The shifts and motions right now from Steve Lobotsky is outstanding. They're able to kind of bunch and stack a release. You see a lot of a flood concept on the left side of your screen. Lots of receivers coming out of the backfield. That could confuse secondaries, leaves players wide open. There's Brandon Pendergrass.
No white jerseys around Riley
Absolutely.
Skinner. Nobody's in that backfield. They have got to find a way to pressure the backfield.
Skinner 6 for 6. But can Wake Forest cash in? They got down to the 5 at a first down and couldn't. Pendergrass on the direct snap. Takes his way up the middle. A short gain.
Number 22, Brandon Pendergrass with the carry.
You know, he's an accurate passer, Skinner, down in the red zone, but they have struggled in this area. You can tell that Lobotsky's still trying to figure out ways to get the ball across the goal line. It didn't work the first time down here, this direct snap stuff.
You alluded to it earlier, Chris. You talked about this week, the last week and a half, how hard the offensive line has been ground at practice. They've got to win up front.
Once again, Pendergrass, direct snap. Hands it off to Bolden, and he'll be dropped for a loss. Chris Clemens, the safety, they've seen enough of this stuff now. And the defense has done a good job bowing up with their backs to the goal line.
As soon as the backs get to the goal line, Chris, you're exactly right. When you're on the goal line, it's easier to pin yourself and get forward. I'm just from the old school thought that, hey, you get down inside the 5-yard line, you're an offensive line, let's get in those tight splits, let's punch this ball in the end zone, let's get physical.
Now they got 5 receivers, no backs on 3rd and goal. Skinner rolls, fires across the middle, broken up at the last minute. Coming across to make the play was Preston Butler. Jordan Williams was open. Butler closed on it, and here comes another field goal attempt.
Just a great, outstanding play in the secondary by Butler to be able to close the gap because he's beaten, and an excellent angle at going to deflect the pass.
So Shane Popham, and there's McManus, the holder, mishandled the first one. This is just a 22-yarder. And he sneaks it through the right upright. Two really impressive drives in the first quarter for the Demon Deacons, but only 3 points on the board. Now you ready for the high noon Eastern time, 11 o'clock in Dallas, Red River Shootout. Texas and Oklahoma, both teams ranked, of course, in the top 5. Two strong Heisman contenders, and Sam Bradford and Colt McCoy. Can't wait to see that one. It follows College Game Day. It's over on ABC at noon Eastern.
I look forward to that. Talk about hot quarterbacks.
The scary numbers.
Fire. You know, Colt McCoy, he is so confident about what he's doing, and Sam Bradford's got so many players around him.
I'll tell you what's interesting, too. You know, I think Oklahoma has the best offensive line in college football. Texas right now, though, is the best at getting after the quarterback. They lead the country in sacks. Quarterbacks in this game are unbelievable, but I think that's another great matchup. Oklahoma's offensive line against Will Muschamp and what he's doing at Texas.
The Texas defense has only given up 5 touchdowns this season, and the starters have only given up 2 scoring drives longer than 30 yards. So some of the passing numbers aren't great, but Muschamp's concerned about not giving up points. Another short kickoff. Spiller follows a blocker, and C.J. Spiller breaks a tackle. He's tough to bring down across the 40. He is just feared by every team that plays Clemson. This is his 5th game on artificial turf in his career. You realize in the previous 4, he's had a touchdown of 70 yards or more, either running or returning. He loves the artificial stuff.
He almost went 75 right there.
Unbelievable.
You think Jim Grove likes that stat?
Can you change the surface in a week?
Let's go grass, fellas.
He had a 90-yard kickoff return against the Demon Deacons in last year's blowout in Clemson. It's Davis, who was in the slot, now motions back to the tailback position and takes the handoff. Well, he'll try in the middle, and it's just not there against Wake Forest.
Talked about how there's a lot of inexperience right now in this Clemson offensive line. This is the 5th different starting lineup they've had this year, and right now they're just catching these Wake Forest defenders in the mouth right now.
I've really had a hard time this week. I hear coaches tell you about inexperience here and there, but we're in the middle of a football season. It is what it is. So at some point in time, you get off the crutches and you say, fellas, here's what we are. We gave you a scholarship, and you're a big fella. Get out there and do your job.
Clemson still in the red in these tough economic times, minus 5 yards offense tonight. And they'll try the reverse. Here comes Jacoby Ford, but there were 4 Demon Deacon defenders waiting for him. Chip Vaughn on the tackle. They're very aware of the speedy Ford in this game.
Defensive coordinator Brad Lambert told us he does not want to give up any junk plays. He said Clemson will use a lot of shifts and motions, try trickeration. They have to really corral these weapons and the speed on the perimeter, the Clemson players. They do it right there.
How many black helmets do you see around the ball that time?
Lots,
5 or 6,
5
right?
or 6, absolutely.
That's how you win.
Yeah, Ford is a track guy. He's an All-American indoor and outdoor track, but had no room to run there. Wake Forest completely dominates the first quarter. 120 yards to minus 5, but only a field goal to show for it. And Clemson's longest gain in the first 15 minutes, longest gain, 2 yards.
At the end of the first quarter,
But they're hanging in there on the road.
0.
15 minutes in the books, and we'll come back to Winston-Salem. Wake Forest, 3-0. Start of the second quarter here in Winston-Salem. Clemson's offense still hasn't gotten started, and they face another 3rd and long. Davis in the game to the right of Harper. They need 7 yards. Low shotgun snap. Harper fires over the middle. No, not complete. A huge hit on the receiver there by Chip Vaughn. He rocked.
Well, at some point, Clemson's offense is going to have to step up and somebody make a play. Cullen Harper's a good play call. They've got the time. Nice ball delivered. Just got to hang on, finish the play.
Wake Forest dropped 8 players into coverage, so there's not going to be a lot of windows, but Jarrell Berry, the tight end, he's got to make that catch.
Number 86, Michael Palmer, will punt for Clemson.
They're 3 and out for the Tigers. Dawson Zimmerman on the punt. And it'll roll dead inside the 5. So they make a switch at punter. And it's a very effective kick. And Wake Forest pinned back at their 1 after the 54-yard boot. Maybe that'll be the play that gets Clemson going, a special teams play. The Applebee's weekend menu. I think it's the best lineup of games, perhaps of the season.
Yeah, each one of them has its own little storyline or theme. LSU, Florida. I think Texas Oklahoma is the best game, but LSU, Florida, man, I cannot wait to see how Florida's offense, if they can handle LSU's defense.
I'm curious to see Jarrett Lee in the swamp. What about Oklahoma State, Missouri, though? Second best rush offense in the country, Oklahoma State. Third best passing offense in the country, Missouri. Maybe the team that's last on the field wins that game.
And Brett Bielema's got to get his Badgers up, or else Penn State continues the roll.
It's a quarterback sneak. They don't get much push. Skinner gets about a yard. Yeah, Penn State, by the way, their last 2 visits to Camp Randall have produced a field goal each in 2 losses, but they didn't have Darryl Clark, and I think he's ready for that challenge.
Yeah, and Brett's talking about getting back to Wisconsin football. That means running the football and playing better defense like they used to do.
I formation, no trickery down here at the 1, and they get up to the fullback. Kevin Harris, nowhere to run.
This is so big for Clemson here. If they can get this stop and force a punt, they at least give themselves an opportunity offensively to at least start maybe in Wake Forest field position.
But why not do this? What a strategy. Clemson's offense is in the negative. So go ahead and play field position. Don't make a mistake down here. Punt the football away. 3 plays later, you get it back.
A short completion, but short of the first down is Chip Brinkman. Couldn't quite get upfield enough. They buy some space for the punter. And remember, no Sam Swank, so Shane Popham, the redshirt freshman, handling all of the duties that Swank did, and this was the bigger concern for Grubb. Will Popham just be able to catch the snap and get it away? Will he be too nervous in his first game?
Not having Sam Swank is huge for Wake Forest. He was the MVP of the 2006 Wake Forest team, the year they won the ACC and played in the Orange Bowl.
So here's Popham. First college punt, and it's from your end zone, and it's not a real good kick. Fair catch made at the 43-yard line. And Spiller will set up the Tigers in very good field position, just 33 yards on the boot. Clemson defense does its job, and the Tigers take over. Still don't have a first down tonight, but they gained 22 yards, guys, on that exchange of punts, and they take over at the Wake 42. Spiller motions from the I formation. Harper, pump fakes, looks down the sideline, floats it to Kelly. Jump ball incomplete. Physical coverage over there by Brandon G. He's a big 6-foot corner, good size to go against the 6'5" Kelly.
Hey, you got a size mismatch here, and you get the opportunity for him to go up and make the play. But G jumps off and gives plenty of space, and then turns, finds his receiver.
It's been a frustrating year for Aaron Kelly so far this year. 11 touchdowns a year ago. He has yet to score a touchdown this season. Clemson has to find ways to get him involved, to get him in the end zone to score points.
He does have 25 catches, but teams are learning you got to press him. You got to play physical against him, and that tends to nullify some of his effectiveness. On second down, Harper finds Ford, and Ford tightropes around the corner for about 4 yards. Kevin Patterson, the safety, forced him out.
One of the conversations that the Clemson coaching staff has had to deal with offensively is that they have a lot of good players over there offensively, but they can't get any one of them on track.
When you don't have the continuity up front on the offensive line, it really handcuffs you as a play caller, having to worry about not having time to get the ball out to hit those big playmakers.
They're finally in the black, guys, in yards. They got 1 yard total offense.
They're averaging 6.26 yards in offensive play heading into today.
Again, those troubles on 3rd and long. It's Kelly. He motions up tight, and the snap gets away from Harper, steps up and goes down at the 50. What else can go wrong on 3rd down for this defense? Kyle Wilbur there to clean it up.
Cullen Harper's a guy that really needs to play within rhythm of a football game. The drop pass on the last third down attempt that they had really kept him from maybe getting into a rhythm for his game.
But you look at this snap. That's a bad snap from Thomas Austin. Really, Clemson cannot afford that. Thomas Austin is the only player to start at the same position in every game this year on the offensive line.
And Dawson Zimmerman on the punt. They take over at the 42-yard line, lose 8 on the possession, and punt again. Ouch. It's a good high kick. That's why they bring Zimmerman in there. He's the higher of the 2 punters. Alphonso Smith makes a fair catch at the 15. Tigers doing nothing with the football, but only down by 3.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Nissan, passionate about performance and proud sponsor of the Heisman Trophy, and the new AT&T, your world delivered.
Nice. What do you do with the Snickers bar to make it better? You fry it up. That's better.
You're going to be down at the State Fair there at OU Texas game.
They have corny dogs. They have fried Snickers.
Fried anything. You go to a State Fair, any state, they're going to have fried something. Fried ice cream. How do you fry ice cream?
Salivating up here just watching the screen.
And Wake Forest takes over. They made the only positive plays on offense tonight for either side. A little more room to work with at the 15. Boom! Hit in the backfield. Clemson's brought up the intensity on defense. They were on their heels and looked confused the first couple of series. They are teeing off now.
I tell you a guy, though, that needs to have them huddled up over on the sideline. Offensive line coach at Clemson, Brad Scott. He's been around a long time. Brad needs right now to be talking to his guys, getting in there.
He was a minute ago. He was huddled up in the timeout.
And man, let them know, fellas, we have got to come out. We are losing it up front.
Former head coach at South Carolina, of course, spent some time with Bobby Bowden's staff at Florida State. He's a very good line coach, but he's got a makeshift bunch again tonight, and they've struggled. The defensive line for the Tigers is playing a little bit better, though. Skinner, pump fake, fires down the sidelines. Hit out of bounds is Marshall Williams. Brad wants a catch, but Chris Clemens was there in the coverage.
This is a nice little design play. Riley Skinner pumping the inside route, trying to get that corner to bite. He's got a window down the sideline to Marshall Williams, just not able to get his feet down inbounds.
It might have gotten it inbounds if Clemens hadn't been there to shove him in the back. Good play. The graduate. Clemens finally got his wisdom tooth things sorted out. He's been playing a lot better since he's pain-free. On third down, the throw is complete. This time Williams gets free. Marshall Williams out to the 40. The sophomore from just down the road in Durham. His 12th catch of the season.
You know, getting in open space out here, this is the offensive line that played and won for the receiver on the left side. Watch your offensive linemen, how they get to the outside. 78 does a heck of a job of getting out there, the freshman Joe Looney.
He's a true freshman.
Evan Brown has dropped for a loss. Clemson's teeing off a lot more on those wide runs. They'll lose 5 yards.
How about Looney getting out there, though? That was pretty impressive.
Well, you're going to see a lot of Joe Looney tonight here. He's one of the rare true freshmen to play for Jim Grobe. Jim Grobe mass redshirts his players, and unless you're able to play 20 to 25 snaps a game, excluding special teams, you're getting redshirted. Joe Looney good enough, though, to play on offense.
Pendergrass to the left of Skinner on 2nd and 16, and he's got the ball on the delay. And Brandon pounds forward back near the original line of scrimmage. It'll set up 3rd and 10 as we check with Reese Davis for Sports Center right now. Reese, what do you have?
Chris Pac-Man Jones will not be disciplined by the Cowboys for having a scuffle with his bodyguard. Jerry Jones did acknowledge he was disappointed he was having to deal with it, but Pac-Man still in good stead as far as playing time goes. They say rubbing's racing, but I don't know about wrestling. Carl Edwards and Kevin Harvick got in a little scuffle in the garage in Charlotte today. Sports Center coming up after the game. Stay current with ESPN News.
That was the big one there at the Talladega, Craig. You were lecturing us on a week ago. That was the offshoot. Skinner pressured, gets away. Skinner headed for the sidelines, fighting toward the first down marker, and he'll get it now because here comes a flag. Skinner showing that speed, would have gotten the first down anyway at the 49. They'll tack on 15.
Those big splits by the offensive line really make it hard for defenders to pin their ears back and get there from the outside. But, Craig, look how good Riley Skinner is in the pocket.
And you know what? We talked about him in pregame. We're down there watching him warm up, and we just said, looks like the kind of guy you'd like to play with. He's got that charisma about him, and the expectations from him, from his teammates, are just high.
You see so many times a big old defensive lineman frustration didn't quite get to Skinner in time. Takes the frustration out on the quarterback and cost his team 15 yards. That's the first penalty of the night. Sets up Wake at the 36. And again, Skinner motions out. He's at the bottom of the formation. And this is Pendergrass in the shotgun. Bolden. It's a reverse and a pass. Heave downfield. Skinner, the quarterback in the end zone. Jump ball. Broken up. Jordan Williams threw it up there. Skinner had a chance. But Byron Maxwell, good job to get back there and knock it away.
Skinner was 6'7", and this would have been a great play. But give Skinner a lot of credit. He's 6 feet tall, and look how many white jerseys are around him, and he goes up and almost high points that thing.
That's that athleticism to be able to read and make the adjustment on a ball that's in the air. But he was open early. Skinner was there, just not used to getting the ball and letting it go on time.
Williams said, I almost had me a touchdown pass. You got to credit Chris Chancellor, number 38. He also got there. Some confusion. Traffic, and the ball is handed off to Adams, or excuse me, Pendergrass. That was Bolden crossing in front of him there.
But how about Wake Forest and Coach Lobo going after him? He gets the 15-yard roughing play there, and right away, boom.
You know what I like, too, about this Wake Forest offense? The tempo is very good. They're getting to the line of scrimmage. They're running a lot of plays. In 3 of the 4 games heading into this game, they've run more than 70 plays. They ran 80 in their first week against Baylor. They can get a lot of plays in. They've got great tempo.
There's Steed Labotsky with a headset on. He was at Air Force, played there, and of course that's Jim Grove's background, working under Fisher DeBerry, the academy. And 3rd and 9. Clemson brings late pressure. Skinner fires near side, caught. Nope, now they say incomplete. Preston Butler was battling Jordan Williams for the football. Good defense.
Yeah, great job up front, though, too, by the offensive line of giving time to throw this football. Turn your head, come up, make the play.
It's a nice job by Preston Butler on defense, because at least it keeps Wake Forest out of a potential field goal situation. You wonder, though, with Sam Swank not playing, if Jim Grove would have gone for that.
Yeah, you know what? Here's a situation, again, being mindful of Clemson's offense. I punt the ball down there, see if I can't pin them back and play field position.
This is within the range of Swank, who's pretty good, over 50. Of course, he's got that quad injury. He hurt it in practice on Monday. It was a game-time decision. They just didn't feel he was good to go. And the backup, Shane Popham, this is about beyond his range. So they run it down, and it looks like they'll punt.
Going back to what we said earlier, Clemson hasn't had any success on offense. You wonder if Jim Grove isn't considered maybe going for this, because he doesn't think Clemson can move the football on his defense.
I think he's going to take the surer way. Halloween's coming up here in a few weeks. Wake Forest going to punt the ball, trying to pin Clemson deep. Shane Popham. This is the second punt of his college career. Tigers don't really come after it. It's a very high short kick off the side of the foot. And it'll bounce backwards. So they don't quite accomplish what they hoped for. Clemson will start from the 13. College football primetime presented by Hampton Hotels continues on ESPN and ESPN2. Saturday night, Joe Pub. We talked about 6th-ranked Lions visiting Madtown, and Oklahoma State against Missouri. That's a game that's like a grass tennis match. Jesse knows tennis, like Sampras.
Yeah.
Ivanisevic back in the day. Whoever gets the service break wins. Whoever's defense can get a stop against the other offense.
All right.
I think it's a potential trap game for Missouri.
It is.
I really do.
Yeah.
So a wrinkle now from Clemson. You've seen this a lot from Wake Forest. It's Davis, direct snap, not in a very aggressive run. He kind of backs toward the line of scrimmage, and he'll lose 3. Matt Robinson on the stop.
That's like a wrinkle on a dirty shirt. I mean, this Clemson offense, thunder and lightning. Where is the thunder and lightning on a sunny day here?
Craig, if you had told me that Clemson would have minus 13 yards total offense getting close to the halfway point of this football game. I would have told you were crazy. This offseason, we talked about how good this Clemson offense could be with all those great players coming back.
And I put it on the players, Chris. I do. Fowler, these guys, they've got the talent down there. They're NFL scouts all over the place tonight watching these players.
Thunder and lightning is mostly cloudy. That's it right now. 2nd and 12. Harper still got the football. Takes a shot over the middle, and Grisham, a sliding catch at the 34. That's a positive play. They get into positive territory for total yards tonight. We're in midway 2nd quarter.
And Grisham is their go-to guy. There's one confident player that he has out there that he knows will make a play.
Fonzo Smith told us they cannot let Tyre Grisham beat them. Last year, 9 catches, 100 yards, a touchdown. He cannot be the dominant factor for Clemson offensively today.
Davis in the shotgun. They motion Harper to the top of the formation. And they hand it to Spiller. And C.J. Spiller. He gets about 10 and was very close to breaking it.
Man, that was close to a lightning bolt for sure. And that's what's so good about Spiller, his speed. Man, he stayed the course.
He's limping off.
Oh, I didn't think.
C.J. Spiller's speed just jumps out at you. We talked to defensive coordinator Brad Lambert, and he said when you look at these guys offensively, they scare you. It's like playing hot potato with a hand grenade because it could go off at any time, and C.J. Spiller has that type of speed to break it every time he touches the ball.
He's in some pain on the sidelines. Aaron Andrews, by the way, tonight on another assignment not available to us, so we can give a shout out to her, and we'll do the best we can to track the injuries from up here. It is a 1st down for Clemson. So back-to-back plays yielding 1st downs after an awful start for this offense.
And you know what? Hats off to Rob Spence. He gets a nice pass completion. He goes back to Davis taking the snap, had a feel for what was going to be there and staying with Spiller, getting him on the outside.
Looking at his leg, Spiller. And it's Davis in the game. This is Davis. Nowhere to run. They can outmove Big Boo Robinson out of the middle.
Yeah, the big fella on the inside. When he's pushing the guards back, you have no shot at running the ball. Now who replaces C.J. Spiller if he can't go? How about Jacoby Ford? Where's number 6? You know, you got to find somebody.
Go back and take a look at C.J. Spiller here 2 plays ago. Just kind of falls awkwardly.
Misstep.
Gets up, grabbing his hamstring. It's like his left hamstring maybe.
This offense, which has struggled so much tonight, that's a big loss if he's done for the night. Davis. Just not much there. Hard-earned 2 yards.
It is a loss, but as a guy who played with another guy in the backfield in college, you've got 2 of you back there, and if it becomes 1, then you get your dream come true. Now it's your time to step up, and Davis has to take the lead role now.
There's now an offensive lineman down for the Tigers, and boy, they sure can't afford another injury there. Jesse mentioned this is the 5th different starting lineup. Guards have been a troubled area for this team, and the guards are asked to do a lot in this offense. That looks like it's the tackle. No, it is a guard. It is Mason Cloy. He's a freshman. Talented guy, but not very experienced, and again forced into duty.
That's where a lot of the injuries have come for this offensive line. It's been at the guard position, so much so in fact that Corey Lambert normally plays tackle. He started every game this season as well, but he got moved in to the starting left guard spot here tonight because, Chris, of what you just mentioned, in this offense it's more complicated to play guard than it is tackle.
Yeah, and Barry Humphries, one of the guards, is out injured in this game, so a couple of Tigers are hurting. 3-point Wake Forest lead. So they help Mason Cloy, the guard. He's on a bench. Spiller up testing that hamstring, and it's Davis in the game on 3rd down. He's joined by the true freshman Janie Harper. And Harper fires to the left side. It's complete. Trying to get away is Harper. He's right at the 1st down marker. Chip Vaughn stopped him. So with Spiller out, they go to the true freshman, and he makes his first catch.
It'll be interesting to see if he converted this first down.
Now they spotted it back, Jesse. I think he's going to be short.
And that's a true freshman mistake from Jamie Harper. When he catches that football, you just got to take it and go north and not try to cut back, and he lost the chance to convert that one.
Really, this is a call a timeout, think about it here, because, this is an offense that's doing nothing. You'd like to get some momentum going in before halftime. Although you've been terrible at running the football tonight, you really have to think about going for it here.
Spiller still hobbling around over there. Well, here you go. The chase is back on. Craig, you got some notes? Educate the people. Saturday night, 7 o'clock, ABC High Def.
Fowler, I emptied my bucket almost last week, but I saved a couple of nuggets for you. Jeff Gordon, he won this race last season, But it was his last win. That was 35 races ago for Mr. Gordon. And I said last week, I told you, the one thing they needed was a big shake-up and a big wreck, right?
Yeah.
And you had a couple of them. But the guy
who Carl Edwards and Kevin Harvick getting into it there, a little shouting match. They had to be restrained by their bus drivers.
In the garage.
Yeah. It was the grand qualifying there, Charlotte. It's getting wild down the chase. And here's a NASCAR with the multimillionaires who drive. Here's how the fracas started. Edwards didn't like the fact that Harvick said something about him on ABC after the race, so he left a note for him in the seat of his private plane.
That's direct.
So he found the note in the plane, and then they tried to sort it out there in the garage
That's
today.
an oxymoron there in my private plane.
They're going to punt. They're not going to go for it. That shows you the complete and total lack of confidence in that offensive line. They haven't put a thing in the board, but it's a fake. And they snap it short, and they don't get it. Now, Michael Hamlin, the safety, the senior, collected it. He got absolutely nothing. John Russell met him.
What does that tell you about a team that we at one time thought was a top 10 football team when it's 4th and 1 on the road and you go for a fake punt?
And they didn't fool anybody at all. Wake was ready for that.
Now, if you're Wake Forest offensively, capitalize on this. Put this thing in the end zone. They've struggled so far tonight. Capitalize on this momentum going into the half.
This is Josh Adams motioning back into the backfield to the right of Skinner. He's got the ball. Josh Adams. That's more like it. Coming into this game, averaging just 2.7 per carry off the monster freshman year, almost 1,000 yards last year. Finally, little room to run tonight.
And those big splits on the offensive line, if they can kind of steer and move those defensive linemen and take them where they want to go, there's going to be big lanes right up the middle of the field.
Yeah, those 3-foot splits really give you vision lanes back there for the running back.
This time hitting the backfield, and in comes a flag. The helmet ripped off by Jarvis Jenkins.
Personal foul, 99 defense, face mask, 15 yards from the previous spot, first down.
Well, Jarvis got his money's worth, but it'll cost him 15.
And it's been a roller coaster season. The Clemson coaches say he'll have a good play, he'll have a bad play.
Wow.
That's a knucklehead play there.
He didn't let go. He just kept grabbing onto it.
Chris, at some point, this is a game. Tommy Bowden, he's got to look at his players. He's got to get some help from those guys. You got to get aggressive with them. The players have to step up at Clemson.
Ball moved to the 29. This is Adams motioning back. Skinner tries to get away. Still on his feet and slides down after getting about 6. Couldn't wrap him up.
Craig and I are jumping around up here in the booth. Craig and I are jumping around up here in the booth. Look how elusive Riley Skinner is. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but a little A button, a little spin move right there, Craig.
You know what? But there's that great saying, know when your journey's finished, right? And that's what he did here. Once he makes this little nice move, he just got a presence about him. Great feet and strength, but know it's over and get out.
How about the collision there? That was Connor and Sapp, two Tiger defenders that slammed into each other. Missed Skinner. Skinner still got it here, and he's hit hard. He'll be about 2 yards short of the first run. Daquan Bowers, the talented true freshman defensive end, was there.
Really impressed with Wake Forest in this football game. Again on offense, sticking with the run. They're getting back to that offensively now. They're looking for a good bounce, run to pass. They've really stayed conservative. They've stuck with it in this game.
But they've had at least 10 or 11 carries of 1 yard or less, so they have to get rid of the small gains.
Skinner has it, flips it short, but he'll be dropped for a loss. Rich Belton, the fullback, and they were all over him. They'll lose a couple of yards, and comes another field goal attempt.
Yeah, nice job at Clemson's defense of recognizing, staying at home. Linebackers picking up the underneath bound and the route there. A lot of coaches would get indigestion would have to make this call here because you've got a new kicker out there. You've already had one botched hold.
But this is Popham, who's pops him through in practice. A little different under the lights. This is 39 yards. Nope. Way wide. Tough night for the freshman in his first college game, and the veteran Swank can only look on, unable to go with that quad injury, and that's been a big factor in this first half.
This has really been the great equalizer, I think, so far in this football game, is not having Sam Swank kicking and punting for Wake Forest. Good snap, good hold, not a lot of leg on that, but guys, that's 8-9 yards wide.
All right, minute 48 here to go in the half.
Should have gone for it, Craig. You're right.
Well, it is what it is.
I've seen enough. I think Jim Grove has probably too.
Yeah. You're going to start seeing them go for it a lot more now, I guarantee it.
What do they do now? Buck 48. They've done nothing all night. Let it rip. Throw it downfield.
Bring it on.
Harper still has it. Finds Davis in the flat. James Davis gets a block and then barrels across the 40. Good start to this drive for Clemson as we check back with Reese Davis.
All right, Chris, coming up on the Pontiac G6 halftime report, Lou and Mark are here. They'll make their picks for the weekend coming up, and also the doctor is in. See who is seeking counsel from Dr. Lou, and we'll also get you up to date game one of the National League Championship Series. It's all coming up on the Pontiac G6 halftime report.
Harper fires incomplete. Imagine Dr. Lou could write a prescription for this offense. I tell you, Clemson's campus is only about 180 miles away, but if you listen carefully, you can hear the howling all the way from South Carolina, because this is an offense that is already under fire coming into this game, has been in the red numbers most of the night, and has generated just 48 yards and 3 first downs. But they still find themselves down only 3. Minute 24 to work with. Davis coming in motion. And now goes out in the flats, but Harper squeezes it in there. Catching the ball in traffic. Jacoby Ford in front of Chip Vaughn. So that's a nice throw by Harper.
It's a big-time throw by Colin Harper. That's really the biggest reason why this year in the preseason, a lot of people, a lot of draft experts were saying Colin Harper was a first-round NFL guy. They thought he might be the first quarterback in terms of seniors taken in the draft. You saw the arm strength there.
They rush 4, but get him. John Russell, the tackle, came inside.
Coverage sack there. Harper's got to have a better presence of mind about him to step up in there, Jesse, and let the football go down the field, knowing the clock management.
Amazing thing, too, about John Russell. Here's a guy that's 270 pounds, very undersized, playing on that defensive line. But again, it kind of shows you the problems this Clemson offensive line is having, matching up and getting guys blocked.
Tommy Bowden will have one more timeout. In this PNU All-State standings, of course, it'll be 1-5 in Dallas. Penn State sneaking around there. You guys are already starting to speculate. I heard an ABC last week, and if the Nittany Lions run the table, if they're undefeated, will they get to the championship game? If other teams there, or maybe an SEC team has a loss, I mean, it is the Penn State reputation.
It's a valid question.
Good enough.
It's a deal here. You're looking at the Big Ten. The Big Ten's not the Big Ten that it's been in the past. So it's a valid question, whether or not that would happen.
Penn State's got to play Ohio State coming up. There's 4 SEC schools and 4 Big 12 schools up there. They all got to play each other. USC's proven they can slip up late in the season.
I like Penn State. I will say I think they're a darn good football team.
I'm all with you.
1 minute even on the clock. They put a few seconds back on during that timeout. Clemson 2nd and 12. Again with just 1 timeout remaining. And their field goal kicker, Mark Buchholz, has pretty good range. He can kick him from as long as 50, not with great accuracy, but it's within his range. Across the middle, Kelly tries to reverse field, and he's hit at the 45. Aaron Curry lights him up. Clock still running inside of 50. And they'll need about 7 or 8 on this third down play.
I like to get the ball to number 1 James Davis right now in space. Let him use his legs to beat somebody.
Harper has time, fires to Kelly. He'll be tackled inbounds at the 40, short of the first down. Brandon G right there to make the stop. And Clemson not in field goal range will have to, well, use their last time out or just let it run down.
How about Wake Forest calling a timeout?
Why would you do that?
Well, just see if they can't do something knucklehead over there and give you a chance. And Clemson's going to do something now. They just set up and throw a Hail Mary, but boy, are they off. They just don't have any rhythm to them.
And when you look at the offense right now, I think it begs the question, you know, what is the problem? Is it the offensive line? Is it not having the continuity up front? In fairness, Colin Harper has not played great this season. Self-admittedly, he's pressed a lot in a lot of games. It's hard, though, to really point the finger at one key thing on this offense and say, what is it? Why is Clemson so bad?
But they're good players.
Yeah.
And, you know, as a former player, you know that a lot of the responsibility falls on you to get ready. And I don't see the hot button. It all goes back to Alabama. And you were at the game. Yeah. I go back and I look at Clemson and I say, this team doesn't have a switch that goes up to a different level. And they're not intense. If you're playing against Clemson, if you hit them in the mouth, they're not answering the bell.
Again, it's an offense that was averaging, 6.3 per play. That's second most in school history coming in. A little bit of a hollow stat because it didn't come against the bigger opponents. They'll take a shot down here for the end zone. 9 seconds to go. Harper backpedals, just flips it on the sideline. No receiver there. And the clock winds down to 4. Kyle Wilbur pressured him. That might be a fitting ending for this first half of the Clemson offense.
Been a lot of real bad energy and a lot of speculation. A lot of people talking on the internet sites, in the media, and the radio back in Clemson about what's going on with this offense. Well, Colin Harper's had a lot of pressure this year. A lot of people want the backup quarterback, Willie Corn, to play as a local guy. There's been a lot to deal with.
Yeah, but Rob Spence says he's not going to do it, is he?
No,
he's not. No quarterback dissension, doesn't want any of that.
And Tommy Bowden said he ain't flinching.
Yeah.
Skinner takes a knee, and Wake Forest takes a 3-0 lead into the locker room against a Clemson team that I think came in saying they were playing with no fear, but kind of a tight feeling to this team and this coaching staff. I think they know there's a lot in the line. Tigers cannot afford a second ACC loss and a second consecutive loss. Wake Forest dominating this first half, 179 total yards. But again, just those 3 points on 1 of 3 field goals. Shane Popham, the backup kicker, you couldn't put the first one on him. That was a mishandled snap. Jim Grobe joins us now on the headsets from the field. Coach, a lot of trickery and a lot of yards, but only 3 points in the first half. What do you do in the second half?
Well, I think we just got to keep playing. I thought we did some really good things in the first half. We didn't get a lot of bang for our buck in the first half, but we played pretty good. So we just got to keep playing and hopefully take advantage of opportunities in the second half.
You were fearful that Sam Swank's injury might come into play. How does it affect your strategy in the second half in terms of going for it rather than kicking field goals?
Well, it makes you think. You know, with Sam, you just kind of thought it was automatic. With the young kid, he's got a really good leg and he can do it. We may have to use him, so we're going to try to keep patting him on the back and pick him up a little bit.
All right, Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Jim Grobe and Wake Forest lead 3-0 against a troubled Tiger offense. Let's go back to Reese, Mark, and Lou, the Pontiac G6 halftime report.
All right, Chris, Wake, the only team in the ACC Atlantic without a loss. Clemson thought to have a breakthrough year, and it started on opening night, and it's just continued. And when you see the weapons, I know they've had problems on the offensive line, but I've gotten to where I hate the term swagger, but Clemson doesn't seem to have any confidence or any intensity.
Well, they don't have mental nor physical toughness. And first, one, you have to be born with it and have it. Secondly, you have to coach it. The coaches just don't teach it with this football team. Bottom line, -7 rushing yards. And you have a C.J. Spiller and a James Davis in the backfield in a bye week, and your coordinator comes out and says, we've got special plays, some trick plays to get these guys involved in the offense. That's awful.
I agree with you. They don't have mental and physical toughness on offense. But defensively, they do. They're playing awfully well on defense, and they play very, very physical. But everything starts with the offensive line. They have all kinds of skilled people. You talk about Davis, Spiller, you talk about Kelly. But if you can't run the football and become a dual threat on offense, you don't have a problem. And
I want you to say that again. Everything starts with what?
With the offensive line.
Thank
when
you.
things go wrong, it's the offensive line. But you can't win without an offensive line, but you can lose with one. That's how important you are. Just like on this show. Take your hand, put it in a bucket up to the wrist, take your hand out of the bucket, the hole you leave in the water is how much you'll be missed. That's what I think offensive line.
And more wisdom like that coming up on Dr. Lou at the half, I'm sure. We'll also have the guys take their pick. Showdowns all over the country, in the SEC, in the Big 12. Couple of undefeated matchups, and also a shaping Saturday in the Big 10. And there's the good doctor in the house calls. He'll tell you about putting your hand in water and then what happens when it's wet.
This halftime report is powered by the G6 from Pontiac, official performance machines of the NCAA. This telecast is available in high definition. Brought to you by Pioneer's new Kuro.
Harper, his first throw of the night. And the pocket collapses, and down he goes. And they mishandle the snap, kind of a stop-and-go technique. And it doesn't work. Skinner rolls, fires across the middle, broken up at the last minute. It's a fake, and they snap it short, and they don't get it. How do you like those first half highlights? We're digging deep. The only points coming from a Shane Popham short field goal. The Wake Forest field goal team was just 1 of 3. They dominate the first half, guys, but again, only 3 points to show for it. They'll get the football first. When Clemson gets it back, they will not have C.J. Spiller. He's out for the game. They got to find some answers. That was anemic at best in the first half.
So jump on the shoulders of number 1, James Davis. You have to get a guy like him in the open space. He has to catch the football. He's not a great receiver. That's a problem. Spiller's really good on the outside. But man, the statistics in this game here, you wonder how Clemson, they're lucky to even be close to it.
They got to find a spark somehow. Minus 6 yards rushing. They've been sacked 3 times. They tried a fake punt, didn't get it. I've counted 1 big play in the passing game so far. Rob Spence, the offensive coordinator, told us coming into this game, no fear. Eliminate all the distractions. Don't play the game afraid to fail. Let's get back in the zone. Well, here we go, guys. You're down only 3-0. All that bad, all those terrible statistics. You're in this game. Let's get this thing going.
Good pep talk there. I mean, Spence said all the right things to us this week. But his players have not been able to pull it off, and you see another injury in the offensive line in the first half as Buchholz boots it deep. This is Devin Brown. And Devin Brown just works his way across the 20. Home Depot coaching adjustments. I can't wait to see what you guys have in store.
Well, we had to put our thinking caps on this one here for you, Fowler, but Jesse and I talked about it, and if you can't run the football, you got to throw the football. Cullen Harper's got the arm. James Davis in the open space, he can catch it. Jesse, get the ball down the field in open space.
If I'm Rob Spence right now, I'm just going back to what we did last year. I know the offensive line is inexperienced, not a lot of continuity, but I got too many weapons to put them to waste. I'm throwing this thing down the field.
Lots of wrinkles and trickery for Wake Forest in the first half. Their first 2 possessions very effective. Clemson was on its heels, and this is a design run for Skinner, who gets hammered right up the middle of the field, and Brandon May, the middle backer, lays a big hit on him.
You know, we talked about how bad Clemson's offense has been statistically in this game, but let's give Clemson's defense a little credit so far. They've kind of been in the bend, don't break mentality, but they have played very, very
that head hunting. He went right helmet to helmet. Skinner lucky to get up. He has 60 yards rushing. There's 5 to go back to sliding, which he would have been doing that in the first half. Second down throw. He steps up. Now he'll take off. He kind of gets to his backside at the 31. Should be enough for a first down. That's one technique to get to the ground.
I guarantee you, the body told him at that moment, get down. This is such an additional weapon that they have in this Wake Forest offense. It just puts so much pressure, Jesse, on the defense when they got to worry about a quarterback.
And it shows Riley Skinner's poise. We've seen a couple times now him having his eyes downfield. It's not there. He doesn't freak out and panic. He just gets ready, gets forward, gains positive yards.
Empty backfield. Now they motion Josh Adams back to the left of Skinner. And Adams has it. Short gain for the sophomore.
And you said it there. He's not panicking. Against Navy, he kind of panicked a little bit. You know, he's trying to force some things. Hey, man, manage this game. This is your type of football game here.
Good to the line, Adams. And a short gain up the middle. It'll set up 3rd and 4.
Man, this Clemson defense, if there's a time to stand up, this is it right here. Your offense is doing nothing, right? You got to bone up.
Set the tone for the second half right here. Let's get a big stop. Let's get this football back. Let's give our offense a little bit of something to cheer for. Get momentum. Let's go.
You're saying that as if you were a Clemson coach. Okay.
Yeah.
Start saying us and we. I want to clarify what you're talking about. 3rd and 4. Rush 4. Completion in traffic, but not getting the first down is Worcester. Preston Butler has played a good game tonight. He was all over the tight end, stopped him short. And Wake will have to punt.
Yeah, and these two corners at Clemson are really good. Chancellor and Butler, they do a nice job of recognizing plays when they're coming their direction.
The defense is doing a good job really keeping everything in front of them. They know where the chains are, where the markers are. Keep those receivers in front so you can go make the tackle, force a punt.
Yeah, Butler shut out Darius Hayward-Bay, the fine receiver for Maryland. He did score in a reverse, but didn't have a catch against that guy. He's one of 2 starters on this team from North Carolina, so Preston Butler pumped up tonight and playing well. Popham misses his best punt of the night, and a fair catch made back at the 15-yard line by Ford. 44-yard punt, and we'll see if the halftime chat has pepped up this Clemson offense. ESPN's college football primetime presented by Applebee's. Early 3rd quarter. Clemson, first possession of the second half after that miserable performance in the first 30 minutes. See if Cullen Harper and James Davis can get it going. It's Jacoby Ford in motion. They give it to Davis. And here comes Ford in the reverse. A flag flies as Jacoby Ford is dropped for no gain. Aaron Curry, the excellent backer, another stop. And this will be a penalty of holding on the Tigers as the troubles continue.
How about AC? Aaron Curry showing the NFL guys that he can play in space like that.
He has been all over the football fields here today. In the pass game, running against the run. He's been running sideline to sideline, getting in the backfield. He is a big-time player now.
He's made 6 tackles, and a lot of the NFL scouts, there's a whole bunch of them, typical in a Thursday game, are here to look at him.
Yeah, oh, there's no question, and so they should. You'd wonder, a lot of those great players on offense for Clemson, hey, they're looking at him.
Check the penalty on the hold here. Oh, yeah, pretty obvious. They can't stop Boo Robinson. They just tackled him there, Craig.
Boo just go ahead and just get in the backfield, line up back there with him.
Big fella from Monroe, Louisiana. That is not a typical recruiting hotbed for a Wake Forest player, but they found themselves a good one on the Bayou. 1st and 18. Harper slings it from his own goal line. It's a nice job to fight forward. Ford stopped by Vaughn. And there's C.J. Spiller. He's saying it's just a leg injury. This is what happened in the first half, but he will not return tonight, obviously.
You know, in open spaces where he's so good, and he just almost has that misstep, that mistiming when his foot comes down and hits the ground. And boy, obviously, no question, a big loss for this offense.
He's the guy that had really hurt Wake Forest in the last couple of years with big plays. Didn't get one tonight. So the burden shifts to guys like Ford and Kelly and, of course, Davis. 2nd and 9. And now whistle.
Timeout. Clemson. First charge, timeout.
And we've seen how costly it is to burn a timeout early in the second half with these new clock rules.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Hummer, like nothing else.
It's the Cup Museum. They got some nice authentic race cars here. It's a tribute to R.J. Reynolds' longtime NASCAR sponsorship, a company that's headquartered here in Winston-Salem. The Cup will head to Charlotte, just about 90 miles away, Saturday night, ABC High Definition, as the chase heats up, literally.
At halfway point in the 10-race chase for the title. Who's the only guy to win it? The driver, 3 straight years. I got the card. Kel Yarbrough. Jimmy Johnson.
I would have guessed Richard Petty.
Well,
no?
You would have. I would have too. Kel Yarbrough won it 3 straight years. Jimmy Johnson trying to tie him.
Clemson can't get this offense out of the garage. Still struggling. 2nd and 9. Penalties hurting them in the first series of the 3rd quarter. Oh, no. Please tell me that this isn't a 3rd penalty already, and or the 2nd. They've had to burn a timeout. Right out of a timeout.
Part of the snap.
Oh.
False start.
Wow.
Number 6 offense. 5 yards.
It's on Ford.
Still 2nd down.
You know, hey, you know what? It is what it is, and I'm going to call it like I see it. If I'm an athletic director and I'm judging and analyzing my coach and my system right now, you come out of halftime and you have to burn a timeout. You got a couple penalties. It just doesn't work right there.
You know, Tommy Bowden told Rob Spence, I'm not flinching. You're my guy. I'm not going to bow to public criticism. We saw one coordinator fired midweek. Tommy Tuberville down in Auburn firing Tony Franklin. It's not going to happen at Clemson as Davis catches it. It's a short game, but the criticism of these coordinators who are so visible now at the big programs make so much money. They're fair game, and Spence has taken a lot of heat.
Yes, he has. I went to the point of Tommy Tuberville firing Tony Franklin, the offensive coordinator at Auburn. We spoke to him today, and it was a tough decision, but he wanted to make sure that he knew that everybody knows it was hard on him to do that, and that Tony Franklin is a good football coach. But, hey, man, high stakes, high expectations.
It's 3rd down. After the play, personal fouls on both teams. Number 96 on the defense, number 61 offense. They will cancel. It's 3rd down.
There is Rob Spence. 4th season here. And again, the heat on this guy has been pretty hot. With you see there's the kind of double personal foul, and shoving the line there.
Jesse, he offered you a scholarship when he was coaching at Maryland out of high school. Maybe you could go down there and help him out tonight.
I think he lengthened his career by me not going there. He's probably pretty happy.
And it's 3rd and 7. Harper flips it short, but behind Grisham. Tried to get it to his reliable go-to receiver. Inaccurate throw, and they still have not converted on 7 third-down chances.
Clemson has struggled so much in this football game because they haven't been able to put themselves in situations to convert these 3rd downs, and all of a sudden you come out of the gates here in the 2nd half and you burn a timeout, you got a couple penalties, you get back in that 3rd and long deal. And
how could you be that bad? You got an experienced quarterback, you get good receivers, you got backs who can catch the ball. How could you be one of the worst teams in the country on 3rd and 7 or beyond? And they're 0 for tonight. Fair catch in traffic made at the 38-yard line by Alfonso Smith. So Jim Grubb has that kind of unsettling feeling because he knows his team is dominated, but still just a 3-0 lead. And Wake Forest trying to make it back-to-back winning seasons. The last time, 1952. De Havilland Comet. It's your ride back home tonight. Look at the average home cost.
And, you know, we're quickly heading there now again.
2,000 a house. We'll never get gas prices back then. And that was also the year the first don't walk sign was installed in New York City. They've been ignored for 50-some years. But it's been a long time. 1952. 3 straight winning seasons. Skinner throws it away there. There was pressure. And nobody open. Andrew Parker, the true freshman tight end, was in the area.
It's
Pretty amazing the job that Jim Grobe has been able to do here since he got here in 2001. But you look at the last 2 years, 20 wins. It's the winningest period in Wake Forest history. Won the ACC in 2006, played in the Orange Bowl, won the Meineke Car Care Bowl last year, going 9-4 after losing the first 2 games of the year. He's done an outstanding job.
You realize that they never had more than 19 in a 3-year period before Grobe got there? 20-2. Pendergrass breaks into the secondary, but stopped at midfield by Michael Hamlin. He's had kind of a quiet night tonight. Their excellent safety, a 3-year starter, makes that stop. And it'll set up 3rd down at about 4 at midfield.
Well, when the Clemson players talked to us this week about their opponent, Wake Forest, the star players at Clemson who were recruited by Wake Forest and turned them down, they all now say, hey, this is a very talented football team. No longer just happens to win.
Wrinkle again. Josh Adams in shotgun position. Skinner's out to the left. It's going to be another pass. Bolden lobs it high in the air. Going up for it was Marshall Williams. They've tried a couple of different offbeat passers tonight. They've been lobbed up there, haven't worked.
I'm going to say the one thing about DJ Bolden, these passes to Wake Forest, they really got that lob ball down. They got that moon ball down, and really at least trying to give Marshall Williams a chance to go up and grab it at its highest point, but the Clemson defenders, good job just staying alive in the secondary, able to break that up.
And I'm not sure Coach Lobo would want that back. Third and 5, middle of the field, maybe do something a little more conventional.
Give credit to Chancellor. Good job punching that ball out of there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that call. Another punt from midfield. Kind of a half-hearted fair catch signal made by Ford. It was at the 6-yard line. 42 yards in the punt. Bad field position. Talked about Oklahoma and Texas. 2 Heisman consideration worthy quarterbacks, all those big play guys, maybe a little bit of an edge in playmakers. You think on Bradford's side, they have more tailback weapons than Texas has shown so far.
2 tailbacks, some receivers, but you've got a very hot Colt McCoy and an offense that believes in themselves. Will Muschamp getting it done defensively.
I think the most impressive thing to me about Colt McCoy, not only that he's completing such a high percentage of his passes, he also leads that team in rushing yards.
Yeah, by like 120 yards over the next guy, but I don't think that's a good thing. Here's a team that needs some rushing yards. A 1st down throw. Grisham makes it at the 25-yard line. Hit by Chip Vaughn.
Offensive coordinator Rob Spence now. He's been dropping Cullen Harper back into the pocket. He's been taking the beating. So what do? You move the pocket. You get Cullen Harper outside to allow him a chance to get the football downfield.
And find Tyler Grisham. You know what? Here's a guy. Grisham is a dependable go-to player. If it's not James Davis, burn up the playbook. Get Grisham the ball.
He makes 15 straight games out of Grisham's had at least 2 receptions. Davis, nothing in the middle. They cannot move those guys out of there. Curry joining the tackles.
One thing Clemson does such a good job of normally running the football on the zone plays inside is James Davis has been known to be very, very patient. He finds the cutback lanes, and he's scarred Maryland a lot, but that has not been there tonight.
But it's not there right now because C.J. Spiller's out of the game, and they're losing the orbit fake and the sweeps.
And Davis just limped off 2 guys. Wow. He's on the sidelines right here on 2nd and 10, and Jamie Harper, the true freshman, replaces him. Boom! Kelly hit as he caught the ball. Alfonso Smith, the all-conference corner, right there.
Alfonso Smith, we meet a lot of young, nice guys. Smart, intelligent, knows the game.
He's one of those guys, when you tell him something once, he doesn't forget it. He does a great job here beating the cut block. Look at the athleticism, able to come off the ground, scoop, and slam.
It was Nelson Farber trying to make the catch. It's 3rd and 9. No Spiller, no Davis in the game. Harper on the ground, pressured one more time by Big Boo. 0 for 8 on 3rd down.
Oh, how about this Wake Forest defense? This is right where they love to be in a football game, when an offense starts losing it and throwing the ball up downfield, and it's interception city.
If you're the Wake Forest offense now,
Let's get some points going. Now this thing's 3-0. You're dominating this game, but it's got to show more on the scoreboard. Get some points. Now's the time.
Alfonso Smith back deep to receive the punt of Dawson Zimmerman. No fair catch and no return. Larry Maxwell on the stop. 36-yard punt. Wake takes over at their own 38. Midway in this third quarter. Still just 3-zip on Wake Forest. Clemson held to 101 total yards. The Wake Forest offense, after the first couple possessions when they marched down the field, hadn't done a whole lot. Riley Skinner out wide again. He's at the top of the formation. Adams takes it up the middle, and Josh Adams, a little bit of a burst. Muscles up near midfield, picks up 12.
Yeah, Chris, they haven't done a whole lot, but what we have seen them do is getting back to the running game. Jim Grove worked his offensive linemen relentlessly during their off week, and I think they're trying to get back.
And not just getting back to the running game, Craig, but getting back to the massive misdirection. A lot of guys moving around, a lot of counters, a lot of guys pulling, really confusing the Clemson defense up front.
There haven't been very many fireworks on the field, but somebody lit somewhere else. Fair next door's got a little more action than we do right now. Skinner fire just complete. Another one of those short gains. Andrew Parker, the tight end, makes the catch.
Somebody said it's a state fair. Somebody scored a touchdown over at the fair.
Action Brinkman in the catch there. You mind if I go over that Ferris wheel there for just for a series? I'll be back.
Yeah, we'll hold it down here, okay, Chris. Don't worry.
Skinner's got it. Fires far side. Trying to break a tackle is Bolden. He can't get away.
The pass is complete.
Scotty Cooper there to clean it up. It's the first catch for DJ Bolden, who came in as the leading receiver on this team, the senior. Out of the Belglade area of Florida. And to see that his brother Anquan is back healthy with the Cardinals. It's good laid out, but he's going to be okay.
You see the run-pass ratio here. It's been about 2-to-1 run-to-pass so far for the Demon Deacons.
Well, they need 4 on this third down. Skinner flips it short. Pendergrass fights forward and dives for a first down at the 35. Josh Adams, correction.
Tackle made by number 22, Chris.
Well, they had trickery the last time that they had 3rd and 5 from the 45-yard line. That didn't work out, so get back to something basic. Take advantage of that very relentless front defensive line at Clemson.
Adams on the delay, dropped in the backfield. Jarvis Jenkins made the play.
There's big Jarvis Jenkins. We mentioned it earlier. He's had a bit of a roller coaster year so far this season. Coach, defensive coordinator Vic Koenig really needs him to step up. He's got to become one of these guys that's very accountable each and every play. He's got a lot of pressure, and he's having a pretty good game so far, I think.
Adams set out a wide receiver on the right. 5 receivers, and they bring pressure, and Skinner. Nice little completion to Marshall Williams. He'll be short of a first down by about 3 yards.
A lot of quick passing so far tonight. Steve Lobotsky, offensive coordinator at Wake Forest, told us, look, want to get the quick game going. I could set up 5 cones in front of Riley Skinner, and he's not going to take a sack tonight.
And I didn't think Clemson was really good in film study and watching their linebackers, their mid-level guys, and picking up the crossing routes. So, again, this is good job recognition, making the plays.
And here's the deal, though. They'd be in field goal range if Sam Swank were healthy. He's not. It's very marginal for the young backup kicker where they are right now. Skinner in traffic. He'll lose a yard. It can't be easy trying to run your offense when the fireworks are going off across the street here.
Yeah. Well, here's the big question now.
I'd go for
Sam
it.
Swank's not out here. They've got 2 missed field goals so far. This would be a no-brainer if Swank's on the field. But you see Jim Grove, he's going for it.
Or he's going to pooch kick it. Maybe he just pooch kicks it.
Clemson brings 4. Skinner fires far side, incomplete. Tried to get it to Parker, off his hands, and once again, a promising Wake Forest drive produces nothing.
This defense so far for Clemson has been very stubborn in this football game. A lot of bend but don't break. And Chris, you mentioned it earlier. Really, after those first 2 drives tonight, this defense has done a good job. Haven't seen a lot. A lot of production, really, from the Wake Forest offense.
Don't you see that anxious look on Grobe's face, Greg? It's that coach, you know you've outplayed him. You've had a good game plan, but you can't put him away. You can't even gain a comfortable lead. He's seen this before.
They beat Florida State 12-3, and they really snuck out of Tallahassee with a nice win there, but he knows exactly where he stands.
This game kind of feels like that game against the Noles. There were no touchdowns in that game either. Harper has plenty of time, fires downfield, has a man wide open. Nelson Farber at the 35, and you know you feel like Clemson hang around with that experienced quarterback sooner or later.
That's the scary thing about this Clemson offense. You're only up 3-0, and defensive coordinator Brad Lambert told us again, watching them is like playing hot potato with a hand grenade. Any one of these guys can go off at any time. Here's one of the few instances tonight. Colin Harper's been in the pocket with time to look downfield and make a completion.
He didn't mention Farber as one of those hand grenades. And they left him alone in the secondary. That's the best play of the night by far for Clemson. Davis is back in the game to the quarterback's left. And he's a blocker as Harper rolls out to his right and just throws it toward the brick wall. Aaron Curry once again pressuring.
Yeah, Curry steps it up. This Wake Forest defense, they had a blown coverage on the last play, but it's a smart defense. And there are a lot of seniors who said that they all now on their unit know when they make a mistake, they don't need to go and watch film. They know immediately who made the mistake.
Well, there's a mistake on offense on that last play. Colin Harper trying to roll out. Aaron Kelly and Jacoby Ford collided right into each other and gave Colin Harper nowhere to throw the football.
Well, Wake Forest said, we're going to knock Kelly's fanny on the ground. We're not letting him run routes tonight.
He's been held in check, you're right. So is everybody on Clemson's side for that matter. Pump fake by Harper, steps up. When Harper angles toward the sideline. Doesn't have quite first down yardage. He'll need about 3 more.
I think that's a positive sign for Clemson. I had a chance to talk to Colin Harper on the phone a few nights ago, and I asked him, if you could improve anything in your game right now, what would it be? And he said, I'd love to be able to make more plays with my feet. I can help out this offensive line, and I can help our offense out if I could get more production running on the ground. Finally now, Clemson has set themselves up in a 3rd and short. It's because of Colin Harper's legs.
Does this mean they can finally convert one, though? 0 for 8 tonight. They fake it to Davis. Harper being chased, fires across the middle into traffic, incomplete. And a flag comes down late. It was Chip Vaughn covering Kelly. This will be the 2nd Demon Deacon penalty tonight and an important one.
Pass interference, number 9 defense. The penalty is an automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
Well, this is a real weakness for the Wake Forest defense. Going into the game tonight, they were 7 of 7. Opponents were on 3rd and 2 or less in converting. Here it is again. You've got another conversion. This defense has played well all night, but Jesse, like we said at halftime in our adjustment,
good call.
Throw the ball down the field, and something might happen.
Vaughn getting there just a little early and bumping into Kelly. Not much contact, but enough to set the Tigers up just outside the 15-yard line. Timeout. Play clock was running down, and Clemson will have just 1 remaining now.
Timeout. Clemson. 2nd charge. Timeout.
It's bad right now for Clemson that they've had to waste 2 timeouts so far in this half. The good news is they're in field goal range with Mark Buchholz. That's a big advantage for Clemson right now. Sam Swank not being on the field for Wake.
We talked about the success of Wake Forest here. Vanderbilt, of course, muscling up in the top 15. They won their first game as a ranked team, beating Auburn 14-13 in a deep hole there. And, Vandy comes here at the end of the year. You got these schools, you got Northwestern undefeated in the Big Ten. David Cutcliffe and Duke have picked up 3 wins. No trend here. The academic school's doing very well in 2008 on the field.
And Vanderbilt did it with the backup quarterback, Mackenzie Adams.
Yeah.
You know, we had just done their game a couple of Thursdays ago. No mention of Adams, you know, so just good coaching and the lesser schools getting it done.
Lesser how? I mean, lesser non-traditional football.
Whatever it is. No.
They're very good schools.
Very good.
Northwestern has a game against Michigan State, which has been a very wild series in the Big Ten in recent years, and a tricky game for Vanderbilt. They got to go to Starkville as a slight favorite against the Bulldogs down there, try to get to 6-0.
When are you a favorite or an underdog?
That's a tricky game for Vandy coming off the high last weekend.
Very tricky.
First down for Clemson after the timeout. That's Kelly in the backfield. They hand it to Davis on the delay, and James Davis hammers down to the 7.
Craig, that's the first time tonight Clemson has tried to run that inside zone. They've gotten push up the field, and they gave James Davis the chance to cut this thing back.
Watch the 2 guards here. There's no penetration by Wake Forest defense. They're in a receptive mode that time, and they were able to run the ball strong right at them.
Davis had 6 yards as Spiller looks on. Before that run, picked up 8. 2nd and 2. This is Davis. No room. John Russell wrestles him down. It'll be 3rd and short. Thomas Austin, the center, trying to get his helmet back on. There may be a problem with it. He's able to get that chin strap buckled back up for this 3rd and short. Big play. The Wake Forest Clemson to try for a field goal. Harper, play action. Still has it. Very close to the marker. I think he got a first down inside the 6.
It's a good example, again, of Colin Harper making plays with his feet. He said he wanted to do more of that. And on this drive already, 2 big plays by Colin Harper running the football.
Well, he's trying to match what Riley Skinner's adding to the offense for Wake Forest.
The old yellow line hasn't been automatic this year. It's been a couple times where it hasn't quite been perfect.
Not every time.
So we'll hold off judgment. It is a 1st and goal.
Busting on the yellow line.
I've seen a couple times where it's. Herbster used to stand up here and tell me it was foolproof. And I don't know. I've seen a couple times this year. Spiller trying to be a leader over there. Again, knocked out of the game with a leg injury in the first half. And Wake Forest led the whole game, trying to protect that lead right now. This is Jacoby Ford, the tailback in the I formation. They hand it off inside, and it was Harper, but a whistle.
Prior to the snap, false start, left guard, offense, 5 yards, still 1st down.
He said the left guard, they didn't give a number.
Now that's the 6th penalty for Clemson, and
that's a tough one.
That's tough. Right there is a really tough.
Davis now back in the game. Clemson's one and only drive so far tonight, trying to cash it in. That's Kelly in motion. Harper fires, incomplete, off the hand of Davis. And he was well covered over there by Aaron Curry anyway. That would have been future pro against future pro. And Curry lets him know he wasn't going anywhere even if he caught it.
Well, James Davis is not known to be a great receiver out of the backfield. C.J. Spiller, who usually catches those opportunities out of the backfield.
He's a better receiver than James, isn't he?
Absolutely. And then in space there, I like Lightning and Spiller versus AC.
It's tough to beat a guy like Aaron Curry one-on-one in space. Long arms, very strong hands, good tackler. Empty backfield as Davis motions to the top of the formation. Pump fake for Harper. Looks across the middle. Complete. And bounding the ball, but scoring is Jacoby Ford. Almost dropped it in traffic. recollected it, crossed the goal line.
Just when you thought things couldn't get any worse for the Clemson offense, that would have just been a disaster. But look at this pocket Colin Harper has to operate out of. Lots of space. He's got great vision down the field and allows Jacoby Ford to
and that's off his fingertips.
Woo. Wow.
Mark Buchholz in for the conversion. Well, from near disaster and a very deflating turnover, instead it's a 4-point lead, and the first touchdown of the ball game with 7 seconds to play in the third quarter.
I think that right there, if that doesn't wake up Wake Forest's offense and tell them they got to get on the field and score points, I don't know what will. C.J. Spiller fired up for his teammates.
Look at that hurt. He's jumping around over there.
Yeah, right.
It's a hammy. He can do a little bit of exciting stuff. Nice job by Clemson, man. How about that? Answered it going down. They had a big pass interference call on 3rd and long that helped them on the drive.
They got some inside zone running going. They were able to get some push up front. They found big plays in the passing game vertically, but I think the biggest change there was that was the best drive we've seen tonight from that Clemson offensive line. Pass protection, coming off the ball against the run. They got a big penalty, certainly, that helped that drive out. But
it was the only drive we've seen. They went 70 yards after Wake failed to convert in that 4th down pass.
You just said before that drive, though, you know Jim Grove is standing over there, and he knows where this situation could be.
Yeah, he's obviously seen a lot of games. And he knows that a guy like Colin Harper, next level ability, sooner or later, with all those guys to work with, they're going to find some soft spots in the defense, and they did on that drive.
Well, here's a guy in Colin Harper who is tabbed in the preseason to be the ACC Player of the Year. I mean, he's got that kind of ability. I think you just saw that finally come out that last drive. His poise and composure, accuracy throwing the football. Very nice drive for Clemson's offense.
But you're right now. Let's see if the Wake offense can answer. They've been playing with the lead throughout. Suddenly down by 4. Devin Brown hesitates, decides to bring it out, gets a block. Devin Brown gets the corner. Ball punched loose, but it goes out of bounds. Wake Forest football. Byron Maxwell was chasing him, but that's what they needed. Devin Brown, a nice return on the final play of the third quarter. 42 yards to set the Demon Deacons up at their 42. 15 minutes to play. Clemson, after looking awful all night, now has the lead.
Ahead on SportsCenter, Les Miles reacts to his team's talk about knocking out Tim Tebow. Hear what drives Sam Bradford and Oklahoma's offense. Plus, will Adam Jones' latest incident distract the Cowboys on Sunday? SportsCenter after Wake and Clemson.
And the first touchdown that Wake Forest had surrendered in the third quarter all season long. Harper to Ford, the bobbled catch for the touchdown, and now Wake Forest takes over at their 38 as we begin the final period. Skinner fires, complete at midfield. And it's Ben Worcester, who's been an active receiver as the tight end tonight. And Clemson's defense guys has made plays on the goal line. Really a story of missed opportunities for Wake.
You know, we talked about Wake Forest trying to get tricky when they got inside the 10, but they really did a terrible job. This right here, missing Swank. So points and opportunities that are just missed in this ball game.
On the carry. In traffic, it's incomplete. Trying to find Bolden. Bolden's been held in check tonight by Clemson's defense.
Yeah, I give Vic Koenig, the defensive coordinator from Clemson, a lot of credit. You know, this offense at Wake Forest, they're so multiple, and it's difficult to scheme them. Do you want to be vanilla, or do you want to try to out-scheme them and bring a lot of pressure? Clemson's played very vanilla tonight, and it's worked very, very well.
Bolden just one catch, and it was for no gain. Skinner fires in traffic, incomplete. Delivering the blow was DeAndre McDaniel, the linebacker, dropping back in coverage, hammering Bolden.
And you're talking about how they really have been doing a good job of keeping everybody in front of them. This is a defense that understands that Wake Forest has struggled for long drives.
And DeAndre McDaniel used to play safety here at Clemson, so you see that ability in pass coverage.
He's only 200 pounds, but he's got shock, as they say. Skinner pressured, gets away, fires downfield, incomplete. Diving attempt for Pendergrass, and an official down on the field.
Man, did you just sense that there was some air that went into the body of that sideline over there? Clemson, after their team scores, they're back into it.
What an impressive series for this Clemson defense right there to get the ball right back now after marching down the field and scoring. Momentum now really deflating out of this stadium.
Yeah.
It's going over to the fair.
Yeah, they had a completion to midfield and then 3 incompletions as the official was tended to, looking at his ankle. Here's what happened, left side of your screen. And get rolled up on him. Clemson defensive player sliding out of bounds. And that's Sam Stevenson.
And he's the head linesman just standing there on the sidelines. He's watching the play, not able to see the play roll into him.
Sam was lucky his foot didn't get stuck in the grass, on the carpet there.
They'll help him to the bench. So all Wake can do now is hope for a punt, hope to pin Clemson back, and hope the defense can kind of regain its footing in the game.
Absolutely.
7:04. I love you, Mom.
I love you, Mom.
That's a good message to let her.
Safe. It's a safe one.
He threw the 704 out there first, though. Just want to let you know the area code where he's from.
In Charlotte? Yeah. Pop him. That's a nice snap. Boots it toward the corner. And it'll back up. And be collected at the 12-yard line. So Clemson with the lead goes back to work early fourth quarter. We talked about Thursday night surprises. Your 5 straight upsets.
Who's the favorite?
Thursday game.
Who's the favorite here tonight?
Wake Forest.
Oh, all right.
Clemson trying to make it 6 in a row here. On the road. Amazing for folks around here to think that Wake Forest would be a favorite over Clemson. Davis dives forward for about 6. This was such a lopsided game, last year up at Death Valley, 44-10.
Colin Harper, 3 touchdown passes. Tyler Grisham, 9 catches, 100 yards, a touchdown. Aaron Kelly, 2 touchdowns, 6 sacks on defense for Clemson last year. Wow.
Yeah, but on this one here, not a good start for Wake Forest defense. You don't want to allow Clemson's offense to get into second normal. Yeah. You've got to put pressure on the backfield.
They fake it to Davis. Harper takes a shot downfield, throws deep in traffic, incomplete. Jacoby Ford was well covered. Kevin Patterson, the safety, giving help to the corner, Smith.
Well, these guys, they've seen each other before, huh? A little high school action.
Oh, yeah.
Been there, done that.
Alfonso said, ask Jacoby who got the better of him. My team killed his team. No contact back there.
Alfonso Smith was the quarterback in high school.
Yeah.
Jacoby Ford was playing cornerback.
On the other side, yeah.
Cardinal Newman out of West Palm Beach and Pahokee, Florida.
Okay, I'm back on the field strategy, guys. Why would you do that right there? What led them to believe that they could go deep on the field? It's 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5. You got momentum on your side. Pound it. Get after it.
They got Davis here taking a direct snap. And a flag. Oh, they tried for a little gimmick on 3rd and 4. And a flag before the play. You're gritting your teeth, Mr. James.
Come on, now you're 2nd and 9. You get up there and it looks all pretty, and you go down the field.
3rd and 9, yeah.
3rd and 9, excuse me.
There's no foul on the play. Prior to the snap, Clemson called timeout.
Oh.
That's their 3rd final charge timeout.
And just trying to beat the clock, and they did get it in before the officials saw it, but no timeouts left, and a crucial 3rd and 4 coming up.
Please reset the clock to 13.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Applebee's. It's a whole new neighborhood. And in part by Russell Athletic. For those who have what it takes on the inside, Russell Athletic has what it takes on the outside.
Merry-go-round. Shot shoot, one of our crew guys. Oh, man.
Working hard.
Yeah.
Here he is.
That's what you do with the night off here in Winston-Salem. Big play, 3rd and 4. And Davis is in the game. Harper straight back. Fires. Intercepted by Alphonso Smith. A mistake from the senior. And the fine corner creates the game's first takeaway. Wake Forest football right there.
Absolutely, and Cullen Harper's eyes fix it right on his target, and Alphonso Smith is smart, sees it, reads it, jumps right into it, Jesse.
Alphonso Smith last year had 8 interceptions. You'll see him here inside the slot, just reading the eyes of Cullen Harper. He's one of those guys who's got great hands. That's his 3rd interception on the year now. Difference maker, and you're right. Turnovers is the name of the game if you're Wake Forest.
He stepped right in front of his former high school rival down there in the state of Florida, Ford, to make that pick. And again, that's a rare interception for Harper, at least in his career. Already now he's thrown 6, equals his total from all of last year. And 17 in the career for Smith.
They're very lucky that he didn't take that back into pay dirt, a pick 6. But let's go back and look at that series for Clemson. They come out first down, they pick up 6 yards, 2nd and 4, and they throw the home run ball. You know, and so then they have to call a timeout on the next play, and it just was not well executed.
All right, now, if you're Wake Forest, you've struggled in the red zone. You've not yet been able to score a touchdown. Let's find out what they're made of right now.
And you know what they were trying to do in the red zone? They've been down here before. They were going where Adams was the guy taking the snap, and they were putting out the quarterback, Skinner, in the flats. Hey, get back and try something different with Skinner as the quarterback.
Alphonso Smith making one of those plays that comes from film study, and he is known for really working hard. He's played for so long and anticipated Harper very well, and you can see the takeaway history for Wake Forest here. 84 in the last 3 seasons, second only to Boston College. So Josh Adams in the game. After the pick, it's first down at the 16. Skinner, pump fake. Adams has it. Gets about 3. Jarvis Jenkins on the stop. Not much success with the conventional running plays tonight.
And I don't think that your mindset here right now is playing for 3, is it? I mean, you know, thinking that you might get more down the road.
No, I would think not.
No, not just that you're down, but you know that your kicker's not there for you.
This has been such a trouble area. There's a stoppage of play now. Going to have to send Brandon May, the linebacker, off the field. I'm not sure what that was about. Skinner rolls to his right, looks back to the left, fires, toward the goal line, incomplete. Ben Wooster had his hands on it inside the 5, couldn't hold on.
It starts out as your tight end, 85. Now he's on your left side. Your tight end on your left side. He's going to run to the middle of the field and then really late plant his foot and go back to the flat. He was open. The ball got there late.
This was the throwback play set up on offense, and Riley Skinner did a nice job just buying time. That ball should have been caught.
Boom.
Boy, that's a crucial drop for Wooster. 3rd and 8. Skinner, pump fake. Has time, fires for the end zone, overthrows Josh Adams, who was open over there. Skinner put a lot on that throw, but not very accurate. Special teams have been the problem. There's Ryan McManus, the veteran holder, dropping that. Popham again in for the injured Sam Swank, missing that one by a mile. Even this field goal will just cut the lead to 1, and Popham will try it again.
Well, you heard what Coach Grove said to you at halftime, Fowler. He said, hey, you're going to have to pat him on the fanny. We're going to need him.
This from 32 yards. And he kind of bends that one in, but not what the Demon Deacons were looking for. They turn the interception, the first takeaway of the night, into only 3 points, and Clemson still has the lead. Let's check it with Reese Davis in the studio.
All right, Chris, Graham Harrell wouldn't enjoy the type of game you guys are watching right now, but he is the AT&T ESPN All-America Player of the Week. The Texas Tech quarterback threw for 454 yards, 6 touchdown passes, and ran one in as well in the 58-28 victory over Kansas State. Every week you can vote for the AT&T ESPN All-America Player of the Week. Text vote to 51234 on your AT&T wireless phone. You can also enter for a chance to win a trip to the national title game.
Reese, thanks. Yeah, these teams have combined for 268 passing yards tonight. That's about a half for one guy in the Big 12 this year.
You look at 4 of the top 5 most efficient passers right now in college football. They come from the Big 12. You could add Zach Robinson from Oklahoma State into this list. Right now, he's
who's having the best year right now?
Toss up. Depends on who you're pulling for. You could say Bradford, Daniel, Harrell, McCoy, Reesing. All of them are playing well.
Thanks for going out and taking a stand. You took a strong stand there. You said, I thought I was in Nashville on Tuesday night.
Who's your favorite team? Who do you like? Who do you cheer for?
You stepped out there, James. You've been watching too many debates. Say something. Chase Daniel's having the best year.
I straddle my fence big time on that one.
There's the kickoff, and this is Jacoby Ford, who bobbled that one, just like he bobbled the catch for a touchdown, but collects it and gets it out to the 30.
Now, I did talk to Graham Harrell last week after that game, and Graham said, you know what, we're going to continue to get better and work at it. Get better? Those guys are...
He told me Graham Harrell was struggling last week. He said the offense is not clicking. 7 touchdowns.
Fowler, I didn't say he was struggling. I said they were looking for more efficiency.
We're not clicking, you said.
Okay, well, they clicked
in Manhattan.
They clicked. They got it clicking. Okay, Sam Bradford. I'll say Sam Bradford right now because he's the #1 team in the country.
And you see the impact that spread offense is having on quarterback numbers. There's almost every offense in the Big 12 is a spreads type of offense. All those quarterbacks having a huge year.
This is Davis on first down. Slammed down after a 4-yard gain. Boy, Clemson just dodging a bullet again. That was so fortunate. Good job by their defense to step up there once again in the red zone after the bad play by Harper.
And Clemson now, a team playing without any timeouts in this football game. Wake Forest has already shown them, you throw the ball in the field, down the field on us, we'll pick it off if you make a mistake.
They fake it to Davis. Harper still has it and has Kelly downfield, but threw short, incomplete. Aaron Kelly was streaking downfield wide open. Harper didn't see it, delivered it short.
Aaron Kelly, they were going to bump him. Alfonso Smith misses the bump at the line of scrimmage, and Kelly down the field.
Just didn't wait quite enough, Jesse, to throw that football. He took the short route. It wasn't quite there.
As a quarterback, it's tough rolling to your right when you got a guy in the flat and a guy crossing over. That's where you're taught to go with, and it's sometimes easy to lose sight of that guy sticking down the sidelines.
There's a dreaded 3rd down play. It's the screen. Ford collects it. Jacoby Ford makes a man miss and dives forward for the 1st down. Chip Vaughn could not get a hold of Ford. He limps off.
Oh, boy.
As the smoke comes in from the fireworks next door.
They say that Ford's working on his skills still as a receiver, but he's really good on the screens, and good job with his forearm there of buying some more time. Was he down before he got to that line?
Oh, no. Guys, I read in an article heading into this game, Jacoby Ford was clocked at 4.02 in the 40 in the spring.
Nah, I don't
Is that possible?
No way.
That's ridiculous.
Downhill.
Davis bumps into a blocker and gets nothing. 4.02.
I never heard of that.
I don't think that the last 40 yards of 100 meters for
Usain Bolt doesn't run a 4.02. That's an aggressive number. Fast nonetheless. All ACC guy, All-American in track. Coming into this game, Jacoby Ford actually led the team in receiving yards. He was 2nd in catches. He's a guy that's got to work on his route running, but he's had to play a pretty big role in this game so far tonight.
So, again, Ford out of the game, already Spiller out. Some of those playmakers, the ranks are dwindling. They fake it twice. Harper has it, fires to Davis, but wasn't there. Harper kind of threw his hands in the air. Maybe he didn't like the route.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, here's a guy here. He's going back to the well. They were hoping they could get that same look again.
Craig, you mentioned it earlier. Without having C.J. Spiller on the field, they really missed that dimension on offense. James Davis has to improve as a football player when the football's not in his hands, and that means running routes and blocking. But Aaron Curry, the outside linebacker, again on the coverage, is having a terrific football game.
They need 7. Problem area all year. One of the worst teams in the country in this situation are the Tigers. Harper won't get it. Anthony Davis, the senior defensive end, forcing him out on the sidelines, and here comes a punt.
Nothing wrong with that. Now, Clemson has to recognize as well what's going on in this game. Wake Forest offense has gone to sleep.
I think you're right. Right now, they got to start thinking about field position. All of a sudden, you can punt now, get Wake, pin back in their own end. This is a tight game, a one-point game. Win the field position battle in this quarter. You have a great chance to win the football game.
Dawson Zimmerman, the freshman, took over after the first couple of punts tonight. This is Alfonso Smith, who made the pick, calling for the fair catch at the 22. Another reminder that Joe Paterno, Darrell Clark, and the Nittany Lions visiting Wisconsin. That's a primetime game on ESPN. ESPN 2 has that shootout in the Big 12. Zach Robinson against Chase Daniel, Jeremy Macklin, and the Tigers on ESPN 2. Big night of viewing. You got Texas OU at noon Eastern time and a whole bunch of good games at night to watch.
Good day coming up.
The Clemson fans have made the journey across the state line here, hoping their defense can hang on. This is Brandon Pendergrass. Has the short gain up the middle.
You know, this might be a point in the game here for Wake Forest offense that they really consider going back and really throwing the football, because they have not been successful with the game plan of going to the running game right now.
They were going to try to run the ball at all costs tonight. That was the game plan. They wanted a 75-25 mix, and now Skinner is set out. Here comes a double reverse. Marshall Williams looking for room, and he would not get around the corner as Ricky Sapp, the very athletic defensive end, creates a big loss.
Ricky Sapp had a knee injury against Alabama week 1. He was a guy that really isn't 100% healthy yet, but still, at about 90%, he's the best pass rusher and best defensive lineman for Clemson. Look at the speed and the ability to evade the blocker and get on the perimeter and make a play.
There's Coach Lobo, the offensive coordinator, trying to dial up something. I don't like the slow developing reverses. Don't like them at all.
This haven't worked. They've tried 2 passes off double reverses tonight. That's a 9-yard loss, and it's 3rd and 19, and now it's about to be 3rd and 24.
Curtis snap, false start, 64 offense, 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
We've seen this so many times, guys. A team that dominates the early going but just can't get any points on the board, and all of a sudden the game turns, and there's a little tightness on that Wake Forest side now.
We've seen it so many times before. An ugly game like this is exactly what Wake Forest wants to play, but that's not their style tonight. They're playing right in to Clemson's hands now.
And we got a very inexperienced punter that's about to stand in his end zone and boot it, unless they can make some yardage here. Skinner steps up, throws over the middle. Bolden has it, and a huge conversion.
Play of the day.
Big time throw, huh?
So far from Wake Forest and Riley Skinner. Absolutely. Riley Skinner does such a good job in the pocket when the pressure gets around him of keeping his eyes downfield, keeping the play alive, and delivers a strike to DJ Bowen.
You know what I liked about it? He knew the down and distance and didn't just jump off running for 10 yards and pick up a little running place. Threw the ball down the field.
Needed 24, got 28. Bolden had done very little all night until that moment. Skinner pressure, just throws it away. Brandon May on the pressure as we check back with Reese Davis for Sports Center right now.
All right, Chris, Pac-Man Jones' latest brush with misbehavior will not be punished by the Dallas Cowboys. Pac-Man apparently got into an incident with his bodyguard, and he will not be disciplined by the Cowboys because of it. Kevin Harvick, Carl Edwards, they got into a little racing deal in a garage in Charlotte today. More on that on Sports Center after the game. Stay current with ESPN News.
Pendergrass on the delay. Breaks up near midfield. That's a first down. Jesse got into a scuffle with his bodyguard, too, coincidentally, right?
Yeah.
Here's Pendergrass, big guy. Go.
Yeah, you know what? Awesome job, though, of Lobo dialing up the right call here and the draw up the middle of the field because they had the success with throwing. Guarantee you Clemson's worried more about the pass of Wake Forest now than they are the run.
I'm just shocked Lobotsky was able to dial up something to work on 3rd and 24. You're not supposed to have plays in the playbook to convert that.
Pendergrass will lose a couple of yards. No. Skinner and Wake Forest have already engineered one late game-winning drive. Ole Miss, when Jevin Snead came down through a touchdown pass, and Skinner had very little time to work with. Got down, got into field goal range, and Swank won the game in the final seconds.
Riley Skinner's proven he can do that over his career. He has 4 career game-winning drives.
In traffic, the reliable Chip Brinkman inside the Clemson 45. And boy, the difference is that Swank isn't available tonight. And what if it's up to Shane Popham, his first college game? He's been doing the punting and the kicking. He's had his ups and downs.
But he got the yips out of the way. He just made 1 field goal. So you know he's got a little confidence sitting on the sidelines right now.
Pendergrass in the slot. 5 receivers for Skinner, who throws it behind the line of scrimmage and working his way for a first down. This Brinkman. So back-to-back catches for Chip Brinkman.
Chip Brinkman, not the fastest guy in the field right now, but he is got reliable hands. You see him on the wide receiver screen, comes back to the football, reads the blocks, he gets north. Look at Daquan Bowers coming in on that play. Wow.
It's a defensive end out there. Yeah, that's the longest play of the year for Brinkman is just 15 yards. He's not a big play guy, but that's what they look to him for. Back-to-back 9-yard gains. This is Cresden Butler, who's played such a good game at corner, the North Carolina native, down on the field.
You know, when you talk about speed and receivers, Chip Brinkman, for example, possession guy, how do you play the game? You know, when you get on a football field, it's playing the game.
I think this is big. Cresden Butler, Chris, you just mentioned it, has been having a great game, and heading into this football contest, Vic Koenig, the defensive coordinator, talked about how important it was their secondary was able to cover all game long. They didn't want to blitz a lot of guys to try to get after Riley Skinner because of how good he was in the pocket. They needed to have great coverage down the field, and I'd argue Cresden Butler tonight has been the star for Clemson. He had that big pass break up in the end zone earlier in this game.
I like that, seeing that from Bowden out there. Coaching them up, trying to get them going, motivate his football team to make a play.
He's going to need a backup to make a play here. This guy's been huge tonight.
And to Tommy Bowden's credit, he's been trying to show this team the light at the end of the tunnel. He's been able to remind them that, hey, 3 years ago, Florida State lost 3 games, won the ACC. 2 years ago, Wake lost 2 games, won the ACC. Clemson's lost 2 games heading in tonight. They're behind the 8 ball, but there's still hope.
Only 1 conference loss. Skinner again fires to Pendergrass, and he will be dropped for a 1-yard loss. So they go right back to the corner where Butler was just taken out, but the Tigers create some traffic over there.
Yeah, you know what? That's that Clemson defense. At one point, this team we had a lot of respect for. Top 10 football team. You had to give credit to their defense. Now look what they do. 3 guys on the defensive line. They're going to drop 8.
As you see Popham warming up. Swank, the veteran, looking on. Another short throw to Pendergrass. He fights to the 30.
That's okay, though, right? That's okay because you're sitting over at Clemson, you're thinking they don't have a kicker. Let's keep them in front of us and make them try a long field goal.
And right now, if they don't gain another yard, it'd be a 47-yarder. That's within the range of Popham. He just kicked a 49-yarder in practice this week. That was practice.
Yeah, a lot different.
They need 5 on 3rd. Skinner, pump fake, now flips it short. Pendergrass in traffic. Up check it. That's Kevin Harris. They sneak the fullback out there. And he makes his first catch of the night for 11 yards and a first down.
It's a good example of why you don't necessarily always want to blitz Riley Skinner. Clemson brings a lot of people from the second level on this play, and Riley able to get through the progression, find his fullback, convert that 3rd down.
Boy, Harris had a great big touchdown catch against Ole Miss to get him there.
Skinner takes off and dives forward for about 7. So back in the red zone. Can they finally get in the end zone? Do you want to leave it up to your first-time college football kicker?
No is the answer. And keep hitting the flats, get them in space, let them make plays.
Pendergrass and Mike Renfrett, the fullback, in the game. Pendergrass hammers forward. And they'll give him a 1st and goal.
Okay.
Hamlin on the stop, and here we go. Once again, down inside the 10.
Don't be cute right now. No trickeration. Go with what you know. Go with something conservative, but
I'd get it to that middle there, wouldn't you, Jesse, where it's like that 3-yard mark for an extra point?
That sounds like a good area.
They're going to get Skinner out of the pocket on the run, and he'll throw it away. Excellent pressure. Daquan Bowers, the speedy defensive end, beat his man, and he gave Skinner no time to throw.
This is where really Clemson's defense has really stood up in this football game here tonight. When their backs have been to the wall in front of their own end zone, they've really stepped up and played well.
The one play that Skinner had rolled to the right and a late deflection by Clemson's secondary, I'd get back to the middle of the field. Do something in the middle there.
Coach Lobo searching for answers down there. 12 plays, 8 yards in the red zone. 2nd and goal. Skinner throws in the flat. Bolden, touchdown. They finally find the end zone. They lead by 5 and should go for 2 here.
It's another great example why you got to be so careful blitzing Riley Skinner. He reads the blitz. He's able to get the football out into the hands of his best playmaker, DJ Bolden.
And you know what, Bolden, look at that, buys time, gets over there, and then gets up the field. He's a strong, very strong weight room-aholic guy.
Looks like a linebacker in person when you look at him.
This for a 7-point lead instead of a 5-point lead. Skinner pressured, gets away, trying to stay alive. Fires, intercepted. Now they say it's dropped, but the conversion no good. Chris Chancellor there to break it up. The first career touchdown reception for DJ Bolden gives Wake Forest the lead. With 5:28 to play, Clemson will get it back. No more timeouts to work with. BB&T Field jumping now. Winston-Salem, Wake Forest back on top, 12-7. DJ Bolden's first career touchdown reception. Antoine's little brother was at bragging rights over his more famous sibling because Wake Forest has beaten the Seminoles 3 straight times. But he hadn't found the end zone, finally blossoming as a senior, and he was huge, making 2 big plays on that 15-play drive after being very quiet all night. Popham leans into the kick, doesn't get real good distance. And this is Aaron Kelly, who's been sent back to the kickoff return, and he is hammered at the 27-yard line. Remember, after the reverse loss 9 in the fall start, it was 3rd and 24 on their own 8 when Bolden made the catch.
And this was the play of the game so far for Wake Forest. They go to their big playmaker, they convert the big 3rd down. All of a sudden now you get down in the red zone, and who do you want to throw the football to? Your best playmaker.
Bolden made a catch in a spring scrimmage this year where he went up high with one hand up and just plucked it out of the sky. And it's legendary here. This guy is a strong person. He works very hard and coming through. How about Riley Skinner, 7 of 9 on that drive?
You see the Bolden, he missed a season due to academic ineligibility, but has blossomed finally as a senior. All right, Harper back to work with Davis in the ballgame. Fires over the middle and too high. Michael Palmer, the tight end, is 6'5", but not tall enough.
Yeah, and again, remind you what we're watching right here. We're watching a Clemson football team that's had their backs against the wall, that knows their season's on the brink. Everybody's talking about Clemson and their start.
And they have no timeouts right now, guys, and we've seen this season with the new clock rules what happens to teams when they're trying to play catch-up late without timeouts. That's tough to come back.
That makes this possession really urgent for Clemson. Pressure, and Harper goes down. John Russell. The fourth Wake sack tonight.
And nothing special about this sack either. No twisting, no stunning, just total aggression. Wake Forest on the right side coming after him. Relentless play.
It's a 270-pound defensive tackle.
He fought through two
beating
guys.
the double team.
Yeah.
How incredible is that?
He's a coach's son. They call him a gym rat. Just loves football, studies hard. And right there, that was just about Will. He just barreled through two blockers.
Plays with leverage, flat back.
That's all he knows. He's a coach's son. Just knows how to play some ball.
3rd and 17. Harper winds it up. Floats it down for Kelly. Jump ball. Incomplete. Could not beat Brandon G. And Harper knocked to the ground by Russell again as he got rid of that football.
Now, I'd have to say that at least it's a quick series for Clemson. No timeouts to go, so if you're going to mess up, go ahead and get it done.
How about John Russell again? What a series he's had. 2 consecutive plays. There he is again. Scoop slam.
Got to be careful there. Got to be careful there. It was close to a late hit. So here's where the new clock rules kind of come into play. They're going to go for this, needing 17 yards from their 20 with 4:26 to play.
A lot of people would be at home screaming about this, but I'm telling you, coaching staffs are having to adjust to the new clock rules. You give it up, you may not get it back.
Well, they need 17. They fire, complete. Trying to fight for the first down is Xavier Dye, and he gets it. Wow.
Wow.
Now, that's what I'm talking about when Clemson's players have to step up and make the plays.
That was cojones to go for that there.
But Chris,
I know, Craig, I know they don't have a timeout, but they did have 4 and change. They get 19 yards. There's a timeout for an injury here. And now it's Clemson's turn to convert in the 3rd or 4th and long from deep in their territory.
If you're Wake Forest defense, that's exactly what you wanted. If you're going to give up a completion, give it up way short of the marker, but now you got to go tackle.
But let's go back to this point now, so that people understand what we're saying. Coaching staffs are saying that these new clock rules have really forced us to figure out at the end of the game the strategy of going for it on 4th down because, and I know, Chris, it's 4+ on the clock, but you really roll the dice that if you give it up, Jesse, you give it up, you might not get it back.
If the other team has the football with 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes left in the game and you don't have any timeouts, they'll ice it. I mean, that's how much time
there's
get burned.
4:26 to go. The Jacoby Ford, you can see it's been a really tough night for skill players for Clemson. C.J. Spiller knocked out of the game and unspecified leg injury in the first half. Ford has been injured a couple of times in this game. Clemson's going to have a first down about the 40-yard line when he's attended to. And I tell you what, I agree with 2.5, 3 minutes, but 4:26 to go. You need 17 yards. I mean, it works out great.
But your season's on the brink. You know there's a lot of pressure on you. This football team and coaching staff recognize the situation they're in.
If they didn't make it, you going to stand up here and say that was a good call?
No. You know what? He's going to be questioned if he didn't go for it. Because if they roll and run the clock out, Jesse, you know for a fact in bounds. Because why'd you punt the football
Well, and on
away?
that last drive, Wake Forest was able to march the football. They were able to run it and throw it. They kind of demonstrated that they could kind of keep possession of that football and move it. That's one of those plays, you're right. That's a roll of the dice if you're Rob Spence, the coordinator. But boy, oh boy.
And Jacoby Ford coming out of the ball game. Here's how it happened. Watch Aaron Curry. Bottom of your screen is there's an elbow delivered here. Curry kind of gave him a little form. Didn't look hard enough to really injure him.
No, his head kind of fell into Michael Carter's knee there on his way down on the ground. I just got shaken up a little bit.
So clock moving again, approaching 4 minutes. Tigers have a first down. And Harper on a little bubble screen and immediately hit. Ball comes loose. Wow.
Guess who?
Big Boo Robinson just leveled the true freshman Marquand Jones. Welcome to college football.
Thank goodness Boo lost some weight. He brought the house with him on this one.
But did you see how Boo Robinson read the screen? He came off the ball, he saw it, and immediately forgot about Colin Harper and just started screaming down the line of scrimmage.
Very smart defense on screens tonight. Aaron Curry has led the secondary and these linebacker level guys. Even now the defensive line getting in on it.
And they went to Monroe, Louisiana, had a tip that there's a player down there worth looking at. Sold him in Wake Forest, and Boo playing a whale of a game tonight. Harper on second down. They were tugging at his arm as he tried to throw it, and a flag comes out. Incomplete, intended for Kelly. Matt Robinson on the pressure, and it's a hold against the Tigers.
Really can't afford penalties right now if you're Clemson. You don't want to get into a living right now of trying to convert.
72 offense, 10 yards, still second down.
Landon Walker,
tackle.
Yeah, right tackle. He's got good feet, but he just gets beat at the snap of the ball. He's beaten. He has to revert to the hold on the backside. And again, relentless pressure by Matt Robinson, putting the heat on him.
Even with the hold, Robinson was able to fight through and get his arm on Harper's arm.
3rd and 20 right now, guys. Or 2nd and 20 right now, sorry. You don't want to get in the habit now of starting going forward on 4th and 17, all serious here.
Harper fires middle. Kelly couldn't hold on at midfield.
That's a play Aaron Kelly has to make. He's a big-time guy heading into this football game, and when the game's on the line and your playmakers have to step up. We've talked all night about there are a lot of playmakers in this huddle. Right here, Colin Harper does a nice job buying time, sliding to his left. Aaron Kelly, he needs to make that play.
Devin Patterson, the corner the last couple of years, converted to safety there defending. 0 for 9. 3rd and 7+. They just got to get the 4th down. That's when they have success. Harper backpedaling and throws it away. Now they get one more chance on a 4th and long, and this will even be longer than the previous attempt, 20 yards.
All right, so knowing the mindset of Coach Bowden that he's going to go for it on 4th down, you really had looked. I was expecting, Jesse, they were going to nick away at this thing, try to pick up 10, 12 yards, manageable 4th down.
And it's been a tough night. The skill players nicked up. Aaron Kelly has only 3 catches for 6 yards. Couldn't make the catch in that crucial throw. Who do you count on here? Who can you count on if you're Colin Harper?
Xavier Dye. That's who you count on. They kind of just converted 4th and 17.
Harper just 2 for his last 11. And this is just about the game. Harper batted away. Stanley Arnaud, the linebacker, was just kind of squatting on the route, got a hand on it.
Coach has told us Stanley Arnaud does a great job playing with his eyes. He watches the quarterback, reads the field, and here able to make a break on that ball and break it up.
You can see the eyes of Harper. He tries to look off so that he can get some rotation from the secondary, but the linebacker, Arnaud, knew exactly where he was going to go with that football and what Arnaud's responsibility was.
He's had a big ball game, 6 tackles to go with a critical pass breakup, and now Wake Forest takes over at the 29. And just watch this clock. This is what we talked about. You know, instead of a short run or a knee where you reset the play clock and you get going to 25, it's 40 seconds every play. This is Josh Pendergrass. Direct snap again. They put Skinner out of the formation, and they continue the trickery even in a crucial series.
But this is the idea right here. It's a great job by Jim Grove and Wake Forest, because instead of just taking knees, you run the football, because each play takes 8-9 seconds, and that adds to the clock running down.
When you're gaining 10 yards, it takes 8 or 9 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I guess the theory should be stop them at the line of scrimmage, but man, that clock just grinds away.
Yeah,
and
they get a 1st down here.
Yeah.
And they need
that's it.
Just 2 yards here. I mean, the way the rules work now, if you get a couple yards, you get a 1st down, and they're letting the play clock run down to 4, 3. And they call a timeout from the sideline. Jim Grove, noticing that Skinner was barely going to get that play off, if at all, calls the timeout. Another reminder about the Red River rivalry. Dallas, noon Eastern time, 11 o'clock. Big D, Texas and Oklahoma. You guys going to make a prediction here?
Prediction? It's going to be a great game.
Oh, boy.
Oklahoma, what have they won now? 6 of the last 8?
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah. The Texas seniors trying to go 3-1 against the Sooners if they can get the win.
There's so many playmakers at Oklahoma right now, and they're just really there. You know, Ogbonnaya coming on as a running back for Texas helped them last week. You got to admit that. Now they got somebody out of the backfield that can give them some juice. But, man, OU's got a lot of playmakers.
I just think Oklahoma has that edge. And you mentioned the senior class has a chance to go 3-1. When you start feeling like you own a team and you own a game, I think
that's
that
for
carries
Texas.
over.
The Texas seniors can be 3-1.
Well, then Oklahoma, then big-time chance here.
And Mac Brown is smiling in his chair right now saying, thank you guys for picking Oklahoma.
Did you pick Oklahoma? Because Senator James, I couldn't tell who you picked in all that stuff.
Well, my clock ran out. It went red. I had to stop talking.
Okay. Adams is stopped short of the marker, so this will set up 3rd and short. And this next snap will happen at about 2 minutes to go in the game. Helpless feeling for Tommy Bowden. Tried to create a sense of urgency, but also a sense of no fear coming in here. And this would be a 3rd loss already, and would be a 2nd ACC loss. It'd be tough to keep this team together if they can't come out of here and find a way to steal this win late.
All right, thinking ahead here. If they don't get it, you know they're going for it, right? Wake Forest goes for it on 4th down. They got 2 plays to make a 1st down.
Jim Grobe wants to squeeze every last second out of the play clock, so he's going to run it down and again call timeout.
It's a good timeout to take, as Craigie just mentioned it. You can now game plan for, hey, this next play and the next play if you don't get it. You can game plan 2 plays here to get this yard.
You know, Clemson has just 1 home game in the next 48 days, and that's why the urgency. It's tricky.
Well, these next 3 games are tricky. Georgia Tech, I think, is a really good football team. We've watched them so far this year. I've been very impressed with them. We knew they'd be able to run the football, but what about the defense they played? Boston College also.
I think BC, I call him Ichabod Crane, but Flutie laughs about that. He's no Doug Flutie, but the guy rambles down the field, and Coach Jags is doing a nice job without Matt Ryan.
In all honesty, right now, who can win the ACC? This thing is so wide open. Each and every week, we don't know. You just looked a couple of weeks ago, Maryland beats 4 straight ranked opponents. It beat Clemson, and then Virginia goes in and wins 31-0.
Yeah, it doesn't have a real heavyweight team, but it's very unpredictable week in, week out. It's tough to make declarative statements about who's going to win. On 3rd and short, Josh Adams hammers straight ahead and has a 1st down. The 40-second clock already running, but that should do it.
Well, I'll say this, Jesse. Why not say Wake Forest for your ACC? Because hats off to Jim Grobe and his coaching staff. They took time in their off week to just really work on their offense and their running game. And they've got a direction now. This game here, over the hump, back to where they have a chance to run the game, run the football, setting up the season.
That was far from perfect. Lots to work on. And again, in the red zone, they continue to be inefficient. They had the 1 takeaway, the Alphonso Smith interception that set up a field goal that kind of turned momentum. And meanwhile, for Clemson, you know, preseason number 9 is just kind of a scuffle at the line of scrimmage, some frustration there. They're going to drop to 3-3, and there are going to be some folks howling. I mean, we're places like Tennessee and Michigan and growing chorus at Auburn, and for that coach right there at Clemson, some dissatisfied fans, and we're in the middle of October.
They were number 9 to start the season. Lots of expectations for this Clemson football team heading in. It's the highest preseason ranking they had since 1991.
Yeah.
But well, that's the last time they won a conference title. You know?
Yeah.
Haven't had a 10-win season since '90. They expect more.
And for Skinner and Wake Forest, they engineer another comeback drive. They beat Ole Miss late, and they trailed Clemson. Wrangler 5-star player of the game is Riley Skinner, following up what he calls the worst game of his life. High school, college, whatever, with a pretty good game tonight. Not great, good enough.
Not great. You know what? The passing game didn't allow for him to take a lot of big shots down the football field, but he took what they gave him, and on that big 3rd and 24, was able to make that huge completion with DJ Bolden, really give this team a chance to win this game.
And on that drive, he went 7 of 9, showed his leadership.
The Demon Deacons end the run of 5 consecutive upsets on Thursday night, and they move to 2-0 in the ACC. It'll be a disappointing trip home for Tommy Bowden and Clemson. It'll take everything that staff's got to keep the team into it. There's going to be a rising tide of negativity in Tigerland. Jim Grobe down on the field, joined us via the headset as the fireworks go off overhead. Boy, Coach, what a drive. 3rd and 24. You dial up that clutch reception by Bolden.
Yeah, great throw by Riley and a great catch and run by DJ. He's done that all year. He's our go-to guy, and what a great play by him.
Boy, this is another victory that isn't necessarily a thing of beauty, but you're getting good at this kind of thing, aren't you?
Well, we have a lot of nail biters, that's for sure. I was proud of our defense. I thought both teams played great defense tonight. It was a defensive struggle. I was glad that we got the ball in the end zone when we had to.
You guys feel like the team to beat in the ACC now, 2-0?
Well, we got a lot of work to do. There's obviously a lot of good teams in the ACC, but we're going to enjoy this one for right now.
I don't blame you, Jim. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Wake Forest. You see Riley Skinner there, so crucial in that late drive, and Wake Forest comes in and disappointment for the Tigers.
Well, the beat continues for Wake Forest, and it will really become a beat at Clemson.
Just one touchdown for the Wake Forest offense. That's enough. 12-7 as they go crazy in the fairground. Sports Center coming up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Craig Dames, Jesse Palmer, and our entire crew here at Winston-Salem, I'm Chris Fowler saying so long for now. 12-7 Wake Forest over Clemson.